Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome to episode 31 of Freshly Grounded. We've got brother Abdul Samad in the building.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. This episode is brought to you first and foremost by Al Furqan School. You're probably thinking, well, you're probably not, but if you are thinking, listen, I've got a kid, he's 3 years old, or he's anywhere between 3 and 18 years old. I want him to, or her, to study Islamic studies, Quran and Sunnah, based on the understanding of the Salaf, of the best generations, of the companions. Guys, Al Furqan School is where you're going to want to send your children. It's a Saturday school. They teach children from the ages of 3 all the way to 18. But listen, if you're an adult and you want to go yourself, you're over 18. They also hold Friday circles. So head out. It's in St Albans. Head over to Furqan, stalbans.org. That's FURQANSTALBANS.org. And then, Sam, listen, I was reading an article this morning and it said it was an article called something like the best coffee shops in the world. So I click on this article, yeah. So I'm rolling through this article and I'm looking down the countdown and I'm thinking, all right, cool. In a second, I see this coffee shop in this country, coffee shop in this country. I'm thinking, all right, 59's coming up, 59's coming up, 59. Bro, 59 wasn't on the article.
It wasn't, nah?
Nah. So there's a misleading article online, guys. I just want to warn you guys about it. There's an article that says best coffee shops in the world, and actually one of the best coffee shops in the world, 59, is not on the article. So please do not read the article. 59 wellness cafe and wellness. Yeah, cafe.
Coffee shop and juice bar.
Coffee shop and juice bar in St Albans. We brought you by 59. That's 50_NINE in St Albans. Also brought you, and if you go to 59 in St Albans.
If you go to 59 in St Albans, if you get a juice and you quote Freshly Grounded, I'm going to give you one of these for absolutely free while stocks last.
A 59 tote bag.
It won't be all crumpled up like this one. Please,
sorry, that's been in my suitcase. We took that to Dubai.
Say no.
Also brought to you by izaha.com, Arabic style caps, hats, jumpers, anything, and not anything and everything. Literally hats, cats, jumpers. Chuck in the discount code Freshly Grounded for 20% off. Lastly, but not leastly, brought to you by Flavor, FLAVR.co, flavor.co. The website's up and running now. Social media, marketing, content creation, anything to do with branding, anything to do with marketing, social media. These guys are the geniuses behind a lot of the stuff we do. These are the guys who created the Freshly Grounded logo, actually, with that being said. What do we talk about in this episode, Sam?
What don't we talk about?
Yeah.
We talk about nutrition.
Nutrition, the remedies of the Sunnah. We have a guest, brother Abdul Hakim, who was a guy who did my hijama. He's a hijama therapist, but the brother has a wealth of knowledge, and we basically go into it. We talk about the remedies of the Sunnah. We speak about nutrition. We speak about the pharmaceutical industry. It's an incredibly Camel milk, yeah. Iron deficiencies.
Yeah. Diarrhea.
Yeah.
We do.
We do.
Yeah, it's real. Freshly Grounded is real. What do you expect?
It is. It's real, raw, uncut, guys.
Halal though, still.
Halal. Without any further ado, guys, this is episode 31.
And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast by best friends Faisu and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded,
After that bit.
the brand new podcast
And after that bit?
by best friends Faisu and Sam.
Really?
Okay, and we are joined by Abdul Hakim. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, akhi.
How are you doing, akhi? You okay?
I'm good. How are you keeping?
Alhamdulillah, everything is good. I'm very excited to have you on this episode. I've been saying, Sam, this episode is going to be right up your alley. We've been looking to have a guest, and I think let me rewind it back to like when we met. So you practice hijama. You do hijama. You're hijama. What's the word?
Cupping therapist.
Cupping therapist.
No, alhamdulillah.
And so we spoke to each other on Instagram. I ended up coming to your clinic to get some hijama done. And for those listening who don't know what hijama is wet cupping. And I didn't know what to expect when I came to your clinic. And I think justifiably I was what's the word? Skeptical. Not because I was skeptical about you as a person, but there's a lot of people who do like sambuki stuff. Do you know what I mean? And so especially when it comes to this, especially when someone's like cutting up my body, I need to know that like I trust the person. So I was skeptical, and then alhamdulillah, you answered the door straight away when I saw you. I was like, I feel a bit more reassured. Then we spoke, and you were speaking about we actually had a conversation at length about the Sunnah and the remedies of the Sunnah. And what really put me at ease is that I've had hijama done a couple of times before, but only from people that I really know and trust, or recommendations from people I really know and trust. So this was like out of nowhere. And then what really put me at ease is I told you who I had hijama done from before, and that same person was the person who actually trained you in hijama. Did you know that, Sam?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, so then I was like, oh, alhamdulillah, because I know that brother is upon haq. Do you know what I mean? So he wouldn't go. I doubt he would go and even teaching someone who is not on the like aqidah. Do you know what I mean? And then you said where you worked before, and I knew someone who worked there. My brother-in-law actually worked there, and then you told me that you knew my brother-in-law, and then I was like, subhanallah, this is alhamdulillah. So that put me at ease, and then I was like, all right, cool, get the blades out.
Ready to cut you, yeah?
Alhamdulillah. But so what? It would be amazing to get like an introduction of kind of what you do, who you are, and then chuck some disclaimers in there, because we're definitely going to be talking about a lot of stuff where it might sound like we're telling the people this is what you have to eat, this is what you have to do in this episode. So maybe that would be a nice start.
Okay, so bismillah. Basically, my name is Abdul Hakim. Alhamdulillah, I work in a clinic also called the London Cupping Clinic. We have 4 branches, alhamdulillah, with all qualified hijama therapists, or you could say, alhamdulillah, that have a background or experience, many years of experience in hijama. We have branches in Tooting, except all over London, and I also run my own clinic that Brother Faisal came to, Sunnah Remedies. I've been doing hijama now, qualified, alhamdulillah, for more than 4 years. And like I said to you, the topics that we will be discussing today are all from, say, for example, my experience and what I have learned over the years. And especially when we go into like things of nutrition based, like I said to you, I'm not a qualified nutritionist, but I will share the benefits that I have come to gain throughout the years that I've been doing hijama and dealing with patients that have a lot of illnesses and a lot of, may Allah protect, that diseases. So like I said to you, please, we're not here to preach, but I'm here to advise you from my previous illnesses, and inshallah I'll talk about, throughout the broadcast, and we're going from there.
Inshallah. So when we kind of met for the first time, one of the conversations that we kind of initiated was you mentioned to me, we were talking about the diet of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what you had said to me is the best way of describing the Prophet's diet in today's words would probably be to say that he was a flexitarian.
Yeah, flexitarian. Yeah.
What is a flexitarian? What is that diet? Okay. Explain that to us, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Okay, so, we all live in a society where food is, you could say, like a main part of our lives. And there's so much ideologies. When I say ideologies, as in like methods of like eating, that like you have vegans, you have vegetarian, you have a pescatarian, you have subhanallah, like people that just, so many diets, like the ketogenic diet where people just eat proteins and their body becomes, there's so much things out there. And, the health industries become like, subhanallah, something that's worth, millions, if not billions of dollars. So now they want to capitalize, on this, different types of diets and drinks and whatnot. So now the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like, as Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our best example. So when we look at the diet of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a flexitarian. So now what a flexitarian is the bulk of the diet is a vegan or a vegetarian and plant-based diet with like legumes, nuts, etc.
What's a legume?
Like legumes are like beans, lentils, red beans, etc. But there is a consumption of meat. However, the consumption of meat is very, very little. And, a lot of brothers are like, oh, how can you not eat red meat? That's the diet of the Prophet ﷺ, or the Prophet ﷺ ate meat continuously. No, that's not the case. In the hadith of Aisha, that, there was like 3 months where that they only ate they only drank water and ate this, but that was because of like, the times were a bit difficult. But generally speaking, the consumption of red meat and meat in general was not something that was like, a regular thing. So that's the main thing, kind of, like it's not really like, okay, we have to eat meat, now you're Muslim, or like, brothers when they come to Islam, they're like, okay, now brother, you're a Muslim, you have to eat meat, your first meal has to be biryani and red meat, and welcome to the family. And that's not the case. You have to, like, it's an initiation kind of thing, innit?
Yeah.
Well, inshallah, brother, his
I went through that exact same thing.
Really? So
Yeah, literally. And myself and Josh, we both, as we were going to so many brothers' houses, and the general was loads of lamb and loads of biryani. And it was almost like, felt like it was part of the religion at first, until we got almost like, we started like questioning, saying, look, do you know what, our diet can just, diet's got nothing to do with this religion. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah, yeah, but I had a lot of actual red meat when I first became Muslim. And yeah, now obviously now, I realise it's not part of the religion. I don't have to eat as much red meat, alhamdulillah.
But it's interesting because Sam, you in your cafe, you've kind of implemented. I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but you've kind of implemented that exact kind of dietary kind of stance in the cafe, because your cafe has started to implement like a lot of like beans. It's always been a vegetarian or like I know you do tuna and stuff, but generally
tuna and salmon, yeah, but don't do any chicken or red meat or anything. Was the Sunnah kind of, did that have any kind of impact on that?
I
wish I could say yes, but no, it's not. It was more just because I think the vegetarian diet is becoming a lot more popular, and it's something that I have more faith has more longevity within like, I wanted to have like a health and well-being cafe, and I think that suited a lot better than introducing any kind of meats and stuff. Although at the beginning a lot of people were saying, look, you need to have chicken sandwiches, you need to have this, you need to have that. But alhamdulillah, we obviously have some tuna and salmon, but I would never put any meat in there.
MashaAllah, that's good stuff. I mean, even like, subhanAllah, generally what I found through my experience is that, you know, in this day and age, you know, food is, subhanAllah, you could say that food itself has changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's not what it used to be. I know when I go to Morocco, like just an example, like an orange, it might be small, but the smell, the quality of that orange, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
However, you have an orange here that's the size of, say, for example, like, you know, that size 2 football. It's quite big,
yeah,
but it doesn't have that taste. It doesn't have the same smell. But so you could say that the quality of our food has also decreased. If it's like an example, like it may not be organic. It may, you know, have a lot of fertilizers or pesticide or fungicides or whatever it may be.
Because when we actually look where our meat comes from now, it's not how it was almost intended, is it? And the same with fish as well, though.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah. Everything's been contaminated.
Yeah, it's just when
fish?
man's greed. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because I almost played ignorant, thinking, okay, I'm understanding where red meat's coming from and chicken's coming from, and it's not a good look. And then you think, but fish, surely it's fine. But then you look into like fish farms and how basically when man-made desires of greed get behind anything, it destroys it.
Yeah,
that's how it is. So even our fish we have now is like it's not done in the correct way. They're not farmed in the correct way. So yeah.
Would you say? But the fruit that the fruit that we see in supermarkets and stuff, the ones that say that they're organic
probably aren't organic. Really.
I think they're organic, but you know what it is, bro? I think it's not as organic as we'd like to think. Do you understand?
But break down what the word organic means.
Organic is basically where there's no intervention, where there's no human intervention that's actually involved in, you know, the growing this vegetable, growing the fruit, and obviously there always will be a certain type of intervention that will happen.
Yeah.
So you know,
because when I was looking to find my fruit and veg supplier at the beginning of setting up my cafe, I've got a couple of clients come to the shop who actually do fruit and veg on a wholesale level, and I got some advice because I'd love to have done organic, and he said you can. There's a couple of places that do organic. Although, if you get on the level with them, they can't actually confirm it's organic, and the price of it is ridiculous. But at the end of the day, if it's actually genuinely organic, realistically, probably not. That was from because I love the idea of putting that word organic next to my cafe. But in this day and age, it's very, very difficult to actually like have a genuine word organic. You know what I mean? So I struggled to find that.
Yeah, and also you know, there's a documentary that I told Faisal about. Can I mention it here?
Yeah. But you can mention anything.
Okay. So it's called like What the Health.
Yeah.
And it's taken America by storm.
We spoke about What the Health so many times.
Yeah, and I love, you know, when I see like, say for example, What the Health. There's so much.
But I watched. Yes, have you seen a documentary called Fed Up on?
Nah.
I watched it 2 days ago with Mrs. No, it's about sugar.
About sugar, yeah. There's one about dairy as well. It's called the white poison. But obviously, you know, as Muslims,
where do you stand with it? What's your?
Okay. That's a very okay. I stand where, you know, I've always.
Well, he's exactly the same as you, bro. Honestly,
I've always like stood where obviously I've tried my best, obviously, to stick to the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know. But I believe that the evils of, say for example, you could say mass production of food has caused our foods to become contaminated. So me personally, I don't have dairy. I don't consume dairy.
Never.
Well, it's been because I got, you know, that's obviously there's a story behind why. Obviously, I've stayed dairy free. I've remained dairy free for now. You could say 5 years, 6 years.
When you say dairy free, because I would consider myself dairy free, right?
Yeah.
In the sense that I can't. So
Does that coffee have milk in it?
Oat milk.
oat milk,
okay.
oat milk, yeah. So when I say dairy free, I mean that I never have milk anymore.
Okay,
For the last couple of months, I haven't had milk. Not in my cereal, although I hardly eat cereal, but in my cereal, in my coffee, nothing.
No,
For coffee, I actually use either almond milk, oat milk, or Coffee Mate, which is like a powder.
Yeah.
However, for example, if push came to shove and there was only an option of milk, for example, like for example, if I really needed a coffee and the only place I could get coffee from was like a McDonald's drive-through and they don't offer any other alternatives, I would every now and then grab a coffee. So even though I say I'm dairy free, if push comes to shove, I will have.
I think the important thing is what I actually spoke to. Me and Josh had a conversation the other day about, because a lot of people are claiming they're this, they're that, and there's also a big trend at the minute to be vegetarian and vegan as well, and especially the vegan thing. There's obviously a lot of people who are genuine on it, and I think it's great. But there's definitely it's a stylish thing as well to be connected with it. And I think what you're saying is basically you're conscious, you conscious eat. So you try and avoid dairy. At the end of the day, it's not gonna, it won't kill you to have the occasional bit if it comes up. But you're very conscious about what you're putting into your body, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's like conscious
perfect,
eating, and probably the same as you. Like I'm not vegetarian. I don't think I ever will be fully vegetarian, because when I get the opportunity to have some nice bit of chicken, I really thoroughly enjoy it, and every time I eat it, I think this occasionally is great, but I don't think I could ever lock this off completely. But generally, my diet is quite a veggie diet, and in my house there's not really any meat and stuff like that. But it's being conscious. It's being conscious of it.
So when you say you don't have dairy, are you saying I for years have not touched a dairy product? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, if, like, say for example, for me, I'll give you an example. Yeah, well, I used to work in Saudi, quite a while back. And it was, I think, after like the Hajj period kind of thing, I became ill, and as a result of that illness, I must have drank something or had something that wasn't that didn't suit my stomach. So I had a post-infectious IBS. You could say it's an infection, obviously, that causes irritable bowel syndrome.
Right.
So subhanAllah, I was ill for, like I said to you, Faisal, like maybe I think it was a year and a half.
So to clear up that you got ill and then you had something which made you worse.
No, I was ill.
Yeah.
And then obviously my stomach, I started realizing that something that I've eaten has caused an infection in my stomach that caused me to be to actually get IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And irritable bowel syndrome for the viewers could happen because of like stress. It could happen like there's no clear kind of explanation that why does IBS come about. And like I said to the brother, there's so many like studies, there's so many cases, there's so many people out there like pushing their kind of views, like, okay, this like a vegan is the healthiest, or like being a pescatarian, or like, okay, in terms of losing weight, like you have so much weight, like so much methods of losing weight. You have the 5-2 diet, and subhanAllah, that is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, where he would fast 2 days and eat for the 5 days. And BBC, there was I think it was on This Morning, they had a morning show where there was this guy, he came on the BBC show and he was actually telling him how he adopted the 5-2 diet, where he fasted on Mondays and Thursdays, and you can find it on YouTube. And so subhanAllah, as a Muslim, we have to take, obviously we have like a philosophy, our deen, so we have to be balanced, and our deen is a balance as well. Like, say for example, you look at other, like, our religion subhanAllah is always in the middle. We don't go to either extremes, we don't go to the left, nor do we go to the right. We're always at the middle. And as a guide to our lives, we have to use the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and he's the best, and they were the most healthiest, and his like kind of diet and his remedies were not from himself, were from Allah Azza wa Jalla, like honeys in the Quran. So I believe that it's always important to take a balanced approach. Like, we're not completely vegan, and we're not completely like meat eaters. And to be honest, alhamdulillah, we can eat meat, we can eat chicken, but it comes to eating it once in a while. And the second thing as well, how good of a quality is that meat that you're eating? Back home, like I said to you, like we have meat that's the cow eats the grass. There's no hormones being pumped into it, and this is the eggs likewise. They're proper free range. It's not just the word free range. Yeah. And people, back in, they were strong. They lived, in terms of like, okay, everyone's like this longevity. Obviously, we know in our deen that your time is already written, but obviously you have to take care of your health.
Sure.
We have to actually take the measures. But like I said to you, it's always a thing where let's go back to our deen, innit? Like people used to live up to 90, 100. And they used to have meat, they used to have eggs. So it's all subjective, like, do you understand? Like, many people say to you that, the vegan lifestyle, there's people that are, living up to 100. Yeah, but I can give you the other side, where there's people that do eat meat, not regularly, but, sometimes, and do eat eggs and do eat these kind of things. And olive oil, honey, and they're very, very healthy and strong. And also they live up to, you know, like I said to you, hundreds, you know, my grandparents, whatever it may be. So it's always going to be subjective, and it's always going to be, okay, what's your experience?
Yeah. So are you saying that, like, because I take this stance that each body is slightly different, like some things work for different people. Is that what the stance you say?
Exactly. Nobody is the same. Like, say for example, our brother Sam here, or Abdul Samad, yeah, mashallah, he's a very, very tall brother, yeah, compared to me. I'm quite short anyway, shorter than both of you. Like, his body, just an example, his body requires more food than ours, because mashallah, he's taller, he's bigger, you know. Just
not sure about bigger, mashallah.
No, but you know, but you know what I mean. As in general, like everybody is different. Like, and say for example, everything, like, not everything works for everyone. Like, me, example, like when I have dairy, you know, my body does. I feel bloated. I feel gassy. I think you know, I'm lactose intolerant. You know, that's another thing as well. And most people are lactose intolerant but don't know it. You know, there's so many studies that, like, you know, ethnic minorities and you know black people, they're more likely to be lactose intolerant compared to their, you know, Caucasian counterparts. Yeah. So this is another thing that we have to take in. So everybody is different. You know, everyone responds to different foods. Like for me personally, like I said to you, I don't have, like, once I have dairy, my body starts to react. I don't, and you know, my skin starts to, I get like outbreaks of spots, acne. And you know, I've noticed with most of my patients that when you cut out red meat, or you limit red meat and you take out dairy, their skin, mashallah, becomes a lot clearer. Really? Yeah, and they drink a lot more water. Their skin, and you know, skin is a good indication to how healthy you are.
So is that almost, if you're reacting in a negative way to having things like dairy, that's a sign for you that you need to lock it off?
Yeah. Always listen. You know, I'm a strong advocate of that. You know, you always need to listen to your body. Like, you know, and subhanAllah, it's so sad, yeah, to see that. You know, I get a lot of customers and patients, you know, that are, like, some are Muslim, some are, you know, majority now, subhanAllah, a lot of them are non-Muslim, as I explained to Faisal, and they're starting to implement the Sunnah. Imagine that, you know, like I had a guy from Essex, Luke, yeah, a good fella, man. He's a semi-professional footballer.
Yeah, sounds like a lad.
Yeah, he's a lad. He's a proper Essex lad, yeah. And you know, he came.
You do hijama on him?
Yeah. It was like wet cupping. I'm like, how did this guy hear about, you know, wet cupping? Obviously, they do have an influence to him. He has Muslim friends, but he's your typical lad, innit? And he came and
like me.
Yeah, like Faisal, brother Faisal, innit? And he actually done hijama, and you know, that's actually showing you that, like, a lot of people are actually open to the fact of alternative therapy or alternative medicine rather than just popping paracetamol. You know, pharmaceutical industry, that's another topic that we can talk about for hours. You know, so
sure.
Well, we have ours. Yeah. All right, so bro, that's actually a perfect kind of bro. There's so much like deconstructing what you were saying. Yeah. But one thing I wanted to ask about is you were mentioning that you know, there's a lot of non-Muslims now that implement the Sunnah. I remember when we were speaking, you were saying that it's so sad that it's almost like the non-Muslims are coming towards the Sunnah and the Muslims are going away from the Sunnah, trusting and now starting to trust Western medicine and stuff. Is that what you found? How have you found that out, like, kind of through your experiences and through your doing hijama? So you started to get a lot more non-Muslim customers?
Yeah, in the beginning, when I first started my clinic, or when I first started working in the clinic for the London Cupping Clinic and Sunnah Remedies, I first started having a lot more Muslims. Progressively, as the time's gone by, I still do have the same amount of Muslims, but now I'm having also an increase of non-Muslims. And like, subhanAllah, it's amazing to see that. And even generally, like, it's sad, I say, you know, I'll say this again and again, that Muslims are generally unhealthy. Like, it's always the Muslims, like, that, you know, we have the pot belly and we have, you know, and we eat, you know, I'm not generalizing, but you find that we don't take care of our health, where other people, mashallah, like, you see them go for an early morning jog. They're healthy. Why? Because, you know, they take care of their health. And you know what's sad? Our religion teaches us to take care of our health. You know, take care of your health before you come ill. You know, just the 5 things that the Prophet ﷺ told us to take advantage of. You know, your life before your death, your health. If you don't have health, how are you going to do your worship? How are you going to, you know, earn a living? True. You know, how are you going to be able to serve your creator? You know, and we've become so lax. You know, so much oil in our food. You know, even subhanAllah, me personally, I don't know about you guys, but when I feel healthy, I mean, you know, doing, you know, I feel more energetic, you know, even down to prayer, I feel more alert in my prayer, you know, and the Prophet ﷺ, and we're not supposed to eat much as well. You know, the Prophet ﷺ warned against us from filling our stomach. You know, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the worst vessel that the son of Adam can fill is his stomach. And the Prophet ﷺ, that a believer eats with 1 intestine, but the hypocrite eats with like 7.
SubhanAllah.
So these are things that we should, like, you know, our deen, subhanAllah, is such a perfect model that if we follow it, you know, our body doesn't need that much food to run. There's so much things that we can deconstruct, that we can talk about. But like I said to you, like it has to be, maybe we need another hour or 2 hours, Brother Faisal.
No. Don't stress about time. Don't stress about time.
Yeah.
We just got started.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
So what do you give me an example of a day? What is a obviously it might depend on the person, but give me an average day. What is healthy for the human being to consume on an average day?
Generally speaking, all foods, all foods that are given to us by the Creator, these are foods. And again, I'll stress that try your best to get them in a way that the quality of the food is not compromised. But generally speaking, me personally, say for example, I wake up and one thing that I have to do, come rain or sunshine or whatever it may be, whatever I have to do, even if I have to carry it with
me. You got me on this now.
It's honey.
Honey, and you're going to say honey, yeah.
Honey with lukewarm water. Now this...
What type of honey?
Okay, now... This is another door that we can open.
But you've got levels to your honey knowledge.
Sam, listen to this. Listen. I don't want to say this on podcast. I want to say a private thing. But basically, did you bring the...
Yeah, I've got it in the car.
So basically, I asked... So the brother Abdul Hakim told me about this honey thing, yeah? And I was like, it sounds like a good idea, blah, blah, blah. And then after hijama, he gave me the honey that, mashallah, tabarakallah, he himself sources and sells. And it was so beautiful, it tasted amazing. And then, wallahi, I don't believe, as far as my memory can allow me to remember, since that day, there hasn't been a morning that I haven't had lukewarm water with that honey. And so I actually got 2 today. One is a gift for yourself.
Alhamdulillah,
So make it, akhi, I'm not a huge fan of honey.
Yeah.
But this one, oof, bro.
I was given a big pot of organic honey when I became Muslim, and I fell in love with it. And when I started learning about the Sunnah of it as well, and I always liked it because it was obviously a sweet thing, but just putting it in my tea and stuff, and I love honey now. Alhamdulillah.
I don't know if I'm putting too much in though. How you know the hard one?
Yeah.
How much are you meant to put in?
Just put. There's no such. Obviously, just put say for example, but with different honeys. Like I'll give you an example. There's a runny honey that we have that we obviously sell, and I'm not the main supplier. So I have a supplier in Romania. Now Romania currently have one of the best honeys in Europe. Yeah. And in terms of honey, we all have when you come to Islam or when you're a Muslim, you hear like sidr honey. Yeah. This is something good, yeah. But the Prophet ﷺ, he spoke about honey as well in general, and in the Quran, like honey is mentioned. It's not mentioned as sidr honey. Yes, the sidr is mentioned in the Quran as a blessed tree, etc., etc. But when it comes to honey, as long as the honey is okay, let's go through this step by step. Yeah, the honey has to be organic. Yeah. It also has to be unpasteurized, yeah, and it also has to have no sugar content. Now, most of the honeys that you will find on the shop floor, obviously not naming any names, will generally tend to have sugar in them. Now, obviously, like I said to you, now in order to produce the supply, we now have to go into industrialized farming. So now we got to produce a lot more honey because there's a lot more people. So now the quality gets compromised. So what they'll do, even back home as well, because obviously I tend to get my honey as well from Morocco as well, from the mountains, where that's really, really strong. So the honey they give the bees sugar, or they mix it with a sugar content. So when the bees take that sugar, they take it and they transform it into what we know as honey. We generally call that sugar syrup. Honey is supposed to be, what is honey? Honey is the bees, they go to herbs, they go to trees, they go to flowers, they go to plants, and they take the pollen from that actual specific place, and they turn it into honey. Now, as long as you're getting honey where the bees are actually, go into the herbs, go into the good stuff, the nature, and they're changing that stuff into honey, that is medicine. So like I said to you, and also like I said to you, there's so many brands out there. They may be big, they may be small, producing so much honey. You think to yourself, is this really, really honey, or has the quality been compromised? Many of us, we even have these in our houses. We have to ask ourselves, where's our honey coming from? Where's our food coming from? And going back to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ, every morning, before he woke up, or after he woke up, he would have lukewarm water. Now, the reason why it has to be lukewarm water so the enzymes don't get burned. So you don't, and even when they extract honey from the hive, it has to be at a certain temperature so you don't harm the quality is not compromised. So you mix it with lukewarm water and you have it on an empty stomach. Now, obviously, there's a book called The Prophetic Medicine by Ibn al-Qayyim, a famous scholar. The Prophetic Medicine. Now, he said in his book that this habit of the Prophet ﷺ, that he had it every morning. So, and this, subhanAllah, helped by the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal, prevent many illnesses. And again, like, you know, I have a book that, you know, like, subhanAllah, it's a very small booklet. I can bring it in next time to show you. It's about honey and how, the benefits of honey, and how, like, Western medicine now, in order to, like, heal wounds, you know, there's a study that they're using, like, some Manuka honey, and there was a test where there was horses that were wounded, and they had, like, say, for example, infection. So what they do, subhanAllah, they do like a plaster, and on that plaster they'll put Manuka honey, or they'll put any honey, like, as long as it's organic and raw, and they'll put it on the wound. And gradually over time, subhanAllah, it will heal itself.
SubhanAllah.
Now, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does Allah say? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fihi shifa, that in honey, there is a cure. So, like, and this is like, and that's like I said to you, like, you know, our religion, and, you know, and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have everything that's given to us. It's just about, you know, diet is, you know, lifestyle is habits. So if we incorporate these habits, like, you know, say for example, I'm sure you have habits that you would get up in the morning, brush your teeth, you look, you know, you look presentable as a Muslim, you try to smell nice, you know, like according to the Sunnah as well. So lifestyle is habits. It's what you make a habit. You know, whether it's, like I said to you, I have this habit, and I've noticed that, alhamdulillah, if I'm on a clean diet and I have like honey before I go to sleep, and after I wake up, I generally tend to lose weight and, you know, cut up, like, you know, like if you're going to the gym, you know, and it helps you lose weight. And there's some honey out there that's got a low glycemic index, which is good for people that have diabetes. You know, honey is a big ocean. There's, you know, there's a brother, he's got sort of very good Instagram. It's called the Latin. No. Apart from that one, it's called Latin Honey.
Okay.
It's very, very
Latin
good.
honey.
Yeah, it's a brother. He's got this company. I'm not sure, the Latin Honey or something like that. It's Latin Shop Honey. I don't know the exact name. And his honey is always from the mountains in like Latin America.
Oh, subhanAllah.
Like, it's amazing. Like, you know, our honey is, as long as the honey is from a good source, you got nothing to worry about.
So you would not recommend like a person, because I remember when years ago when I first had heard of like having honey in the morning, I tried it for a bit, and I kind of ended up fading with it. But I was doing, you know, that, what is it, Roundtree or something, that honey.
Yeah.
I put that on a spoon and mix it into water, and you wouldn't recommend that?
No, forget all the supermarket honeys, man.
No.
Bro, honestly, this honey that you've given me, I've not felt like, I'm not saying this because you're here.
No.
And normally, like I said, I'm not a big fan of honey, but this, it just hits the spot for me, and it feels right. And it actually, when I have it, it actually feels so natural. Bro, when did I see you? Maybe
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I finished the whole thing.
Mashallah.
But obviously, I've been making it for my missus as well, so I've been forcing her to have it.
Yeah.
So I made it for her one day. Like in lukewarm water, I took it up to her because I generally wake up way before her, and so I wanted her to start having it just because you're mentioning the benefits. And so I took it up for her. She didn't really like it because the water was lukewarm, and she likes having like boiling hot water. I like then sipping it.
No.
And so
it can actually be more. It can be harmful for you.
really,
Yeah, if you put hot water and you put honey, it can actually be harmful for your arteries. And there's a study that I can.
oh subhanallah.
Yeah.
Oh, so I've been like giving it to her like that, like boiling hot water, like a nice tea kind of thing.
No. So obviously that'll be the first thing, coming back to like
going back to yeah.
So that'll be the first thing that I'll have. So like honey on
Empty stomach
on
could
an
have-
empty stomach, akhi. And like, you know, most of these habits, or you could say like, you know, just things that I eat are try my best, again, from the Sunnah as much as I can. And also we have a family nutrition, like a family friend nutritionist. His story is amazing. He was a GP for more than 10 years. Palestinian brother. His name is Dr. Ibrahim Adwa, and I'm sure many people are aware of him. He's quite famous.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's very, very popular, especially amongst the older generation of, you know, our uncles and whatever. And he was a GP for so many years, and he used to, like, you know, help people with their illnesses and try to, you know, help people out. And right now he's a qualified nutritionist, like a proper like nutritionist. I get my advice from him, and he's like, you could say my mentor, that, you know, whenever I need help, I call him, he helps me. And he's been doing this for years. He deals with like top end clients and, you know, helping them, you know, relieve their illnesses, get rid of their, you know, their problem, obviously by the permission of Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's the most important thing. But all of it by just diet and herbs. And it's very, very important that when we incorporate things into our diet, we have to know the benefits. Like, I'm sure you wouldn't eat something if you didn't know what it was, brother. Do you understand? You know, and, you know, like I said to you, the most important capital that a person can possess is his health. Yeah. And I'm sure, brother, if you're not healthy, you can't work, you can't do the things that you, and that's your capital, sir.
Of course.
You know, it's obviously money, we say money is a capital, but essentially your
Health is wealth, isn't it?
Yeah, health is wealth. And the Prophet ﷺ said that. And this is amazing. Like, again, like, I can't imagine, like, you know, the Sunnah subhanAllah is such, it's such a pride, you know, that we should be also proud of, and it's a complete way of life when it comes to diet, when it comes to weight. You know, our religion, you know, discourages people from being overweight. You know, we know the story of when Umar radiallahu anhu, he was walking in a market and he saw a man that had a big belly. You could say like a pot belly. And he poked him with the stick and he said, what is this? And the man was like, this is like good living, innit? He said, no, and this is a curse. You know,
SubhanAllah.
yeah, he said this is a curse, and like, you know, and subhanallah, like, you know, he obviously, like, you know, the brother Ibrahim Adwan, he gives lectures all across the UK.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Ramadan he goes to Masajid like Regents, he goes to El Manar, and he tells people like how to be healthy, and it's all, subhanallah, it's all in our deen, and, you know, like I said to you, like, you know, when we incorporate these things into our daily lives and they become habits, it's like second nature. Like, you know, many of us like, I can't stay away from red meat. What, red meat? Like, you know, like the first thing that you almost like, when he came out of his mother's stomach, like he saw was meat. Like, I can't stay away from red meat. I can't stay away from chicken. What you're telling me? Like, say for example, when we do hijama, and I say to my patients, you know, for 24 hours you can't have red meat or dairy because they're quite heavy on the digestive system. That's another thing. You know, they require a lot of energy from the body, and you know.
When you're talking, because you move like this, because the mic's directional, just if you just hold the cage and let it follow you around.
No problem. So okay, so Afwan, sorry brothers.
Apologies.
Yeah, so
I want to make sure that the people benefit.
Yeah, no, I'll try it, inshallah. So like, you know, like, coming back to like red meat, like after the hijama that's done, I say to my patients, you know, don't have red meat, don't have dairy, because they are very, very taxing on the body to digest, especially after you've taken out the bad blood. You want your blood, and your body recovers within that 2-day period or the 24-hour period. So they're like to me, what, brother? No dairy, no red meat. I'm like, brother, I'm sure you can go 24 hours without consuming dairy and red meat. And it shows you how dependent we've become on these, and this is something should be, you know, it should be something that is very, very, like, we should think about it carefully. Like, how is it that we've become dependent on these foods? Like, you know, I worry, you know, for me personally, I would worry about my health being if I was dependent on a particular type of food. Like, you know, we have to depend, we become dependent on red meat. You know, when you come back home from work, your mom's cooked a nice biryani or with meat. Yeah, sorry, Faisal.
Alhamdulillah, I'm a bit of a lad. Shepherd's pie for me.
I'm, you know, chips and mash and fish and chips. But you know, I'm speaking. You know, like I said to you, it all depends on, you know, what you eat, isn't it? Like, incorporate. Like, it all depends. Like, you know, increase your vegetables. So it's not like I go back, you know, this special recipe or this like special book that I have that's hidden. It's actually whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides. So in the morning I'll have, say for example, like I said to you, honey, and then after that I might have porridge, or if I'm feeding it, I'll have some nice boiled eggs, free range quality eggs.
But you always wait 10 minutes after drinking honey.
Yeah, there's a time period where, say for example, I wait between having the honey and breakfast. Why? Because I generally personally tend to find that when I have that honey and, like, say for example, a nice glass of water, it flushes out my body from the day before. Without going into details.
That helps, does it?
Yeah, it helps. It helps. You know, it helps with your bowel movements. Faisal.
He loves that.
I'm a big advocate of that.
It helps. It helps flush out all the toxins. You know. And, you know, subhanAllah, we have all this, like, you know, imagine like we have all this like detox kind of movement, and I believe in it, you know. And, you know, like juicing, I love juicing, you know. Juicing for me is something that I love to adhere to. You know, there's this famous guy on, you know, YouTube, and there's many like Jason Vale and obviously many other people that, you know, advocate like juicing. And juicing is something good. If you're going on a detox, I mean, you can't survive, you know, there's always extremes. Like, you know, you get some people that are like proper like juice. Like, your body cannot sustain. No, one second. No, like your body cannot sustain itself on just juice.
Yeah. So a juice diet is extreme, would you say?
Yeah.
You have to do a detox.
No, for a detox. If you're looking to detox your body, you can go for a month on a detox diet. You know, just juice.
Yeah.
You know, and Jason Vale's got a documentary for the brothers and sisters that do want to watch it, and it's quite informative. It's quite, you know, it opened my eyes. You know, like where he has a group of people, and have you seen it before?
What's it called?
It's Super Juice Me.
No.
Have you seen Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead?
Yeah, I've seen that one. It's better than that.
Oh, really?
It's way better than that. You know, because you know,
Really?
Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. He's got two. He's got the first part and he's got the second part. Where the first part he actually does it himself, and the second part he tries to propagate it to the world.
Yeah.
Goes to the States.
Yeah.
But this Super Juice Me, it's wicked. It's amazing.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's on YouTube, and it helps me.
Super Juice Me.
Yeah, Super Juice Me. So brothers and sisters, brother Sam, Faisal, Super Juice Me. Ridwan, brother Ridwan, Super Juice Me. And subhanAllah, you know, like, and we have to understand that sometimes, you know, somebody looks like they're big, you know, they're healthy, When I say big, as in like he's as in mass, innit? Like he looks
Yeah,
healthy.
no, someone like yourself.
No, no, as in he looks healthy.
We're gonna go into that.
He looks healthy. He looks healthy, but subhanallah, like he's not healthy. In fact, he's malnutritioned. Like he does, there's like and we have to understand that most of our diet is like full of carbs. Like like if we have like there's bread, there's rice, there's pasta. Where's our fruits and veg? Where's the minerals? Our body needs minerals. Our body needs vitamins. Like we can't just supplements. They're good, yes. Certain supplements, I recommend for my patients. And like I said, off the record, I'm not a qualified nutrition. I only, advise from what I have learned within the years. I recommend certain nutrients like B, vitamin B, certain vitamin Bs, etc. If you have vitamin D, as you know, many of our sisters and brothers are vitamin D deficient. Why? Because we don't get a lot of sun. So I recommend, and subhanAllah, many brothers and sisters might feel tired. You have that, you feel lethargic. You don't know, why am I so tired? You go to the GP, you get a blood test. There's, he's like to you, you're perfectly fine. But you know what? Your vitamin D count is low. Like sisters have problems because they cover up, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, and they're not exposed to the sun. They're vitamin D deficient. That's why they always feel tired. Their hair may be falling out. There's so much things that
I've never considered
that. If your hair's falling out, do you have a problem? You may be, deficient in certain minerals.
How do you combat that, being vitamin D deficient?
I take vitamin D supplements. I take certain brands. I take, say for example, Solga. They're quite a good brand. They have a liquid. It's like what's it called, that when you have
the drops of it.
The drops. So I have it in my juice, or I have it in form of a tablet with other certain brands that.
Do you have that more in the winter time? Would you have that through like?
Yeah. Even unfortunately, if I don't go on holiday, alhamdulillah, I went to Dubai. And, I topped up. I came back and like a peanut.
Mashallah.
So generally speaking, if I don't go on holiday to a sunny place. I do, especially in the winter as well. So I advise, winter you have a lot of vitamin D deficient, iron deficiency. So I advise, especially with sisters as well. We tend to find in our clinic, because obviously my wife, she does the cupping for our sisters. So she'll generally tend to find the sisters that are, they lack in vitamin D and also iron. So these things, and subhanAllah, like I said to you, like especially in, not to pick on Asian households as well, but also other Muslim cultures like the Middle East, North Africa. We have a lot of carb-based diet. So if every meal you're having carbs, where are you getting your vitamins? Where are you getting your minerals, akhi? Like how are you gonna feel better? How is your body gonna actually be able to because let's not forget, it's like some vegetables and fruits help detoxify the body. That's why a juicing diet is perfect.
Akhi, you mentioned that about the sisters and the iron deficiency, and I found that as well that a lot of sisters are the ones who go through iron deficiency. Why is that? Is that something? It seems like sisters go through it more than brothers. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, because generally speaking, sisters do lose blood.
Oh, of course. Wow.
Yeah. Awkward.
No, do you know what it is, bruv? Do you know what? As soon as I asked, I remembered why, because I actually asked the question. I actually asked this question before somebody, and I just remember why. But wow. The thing is, I'm not even going to edit that out because this is a podcast. Yeah, but people are going to be like giving themselves like a face palm when they hear that. No, and do you know what?
Obviously, you're not.
No. But I do know that because I remember specifically. I remember like when I was young, I asked that because I heard a couple like females go through it, and I remember asking someone. I might even ask my mum or something, and I remember getting the answer. So me asking that now, I feel really dumb.
Just remember, you've had the answer. Don't ask the question again.
Can I just say this? There's a brother who listens to our podcast. Mashallah. His name is Kay, because he's probably listening to this now. And Kay actually bailed me one time. He's like, bro, sometimes on the podcast you say some things where I'm like, Faisal doesn't have some general knowledge. He was like, I need to come around and just teach you some general knowledge stuff. And then as soon as I asked that question, I just thought of Kay, because he's probably sitting in his car right now listening to this, because he does a lot of touring. So he's often listening in his car. So he's probably thinking, rare, Faisal, you did it again.
Yeah, so so like you said, innit, brother Sam, mashallah, you obviously, brother Faisal told me you're quite health conscious. So what about you yourself, innit?
Let me just go back to that original question for you about your general.
Okay. Alpha, sorry about yeah.
We've got, because I'm interested. I think people can benefit as well. So you've had your honey and your warm water.
Yeah.
You've gone and done something for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is. You've come back for your porridge.
Yeah. It depends what you want to do. So if I'll have porridge, or I'll have also portions. Portions, my brothers and sisters, portions are a big indicator to how much weight you will put on or how unhealthy you'll be. Just because something is good for you doesn't mean that you go all out. Yeah. So and again, portions is something that is in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. In another hadith, he said that a few morsels for the son of Adam is enough. But if he goes past that, then let him have a third for food, a third for water, and a third for air. Yeah. Unfortunately, now, mashallah, we whack the whole thing. Water, you can't, and especially in Ramadan, if he's fasting, he's praying, and he's like,
so true.
Do you understand it? So portions are a big something that are very, very important. So even if you're eating healthy, but you're eating a lot of something, you will put on weight. Because it's you're consuming more than you're exerting. So what goes in must come out in terms of energy expenditure. So like I'll have porridge, or you could have like barley. We have, like, say for example, back at home in Morocco, we use a lot of barley. Barley is very, very healthy, very nutritious. The Prophet ﷺ all used to have barley as well. Eggs, I'll have eggs, but like I said to you, it depends. I like to mix it up, and generally speaking, like people that are on diets and people that are proper disciplined, I'm generally not that disciplined. Honestly speaking, I have a proper sweet tooth. Obviously I try to combat that in certain ways, but generally speaking, like barley, alhamdulillah, for breakfast barley, whole, like when I say bread is good, but like again, how much bread you have, what type of bread you have.
What type of bread would you have?
Me, like, proper bread in the sense that it's, there's another documentary, sorry,
I'm still laughing at the fact that I asked that question about the...
No, brother, don't worry, man, don't worry. It's all right. Trust me, a lot of brothers, even married brothers, make the same mistake.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not embarrassed by it. I just find it really funny that I did that.
It's okay, brother.
Go ahead.
So like, it's not, like I said to you, but barley and like, again, the portions are very, very important. So like, mix it up a bit. Like I said to you, I'm not a person that is disciplined. So if you are gonna live a clean diet, or have a clean diet, or live a healthy lifestyle, try to change it up, because we're human beings, innit? We're not this programmed like machine that we're gonna be. Some people can do it, mashallah. I know some brothers or some people out there, they're like, especially with this health kind of industry on Instagram, and like it's so big in it. I'm sure you understand the extent that which is taken off. Like people, like they'll show you their meal preps, and brothers, like this is something that's really, really like I said to you, these kind of like habits can lead to extremes. Like there's been so many studies that people take like meal preps and like take pictures. It could actually be like a mental illness, like where it could take you to a dark side. And as human, we have to always be balanced. And I'm not saying that, okay, let loose, but I'm trying to say, like, listen to your body. Don't go to extremes where people, like, whenever they'll just cook one little piece of bread and put like one avocado on it, and they'll take a picture and be like, my breakfast for today. Let's not live life through the lens of Instagram. Let's live life or Snapchat or social media. Let's be real. Like, you have a podcast that's raw, because not everyone's the same. Like this, some people, like, subhanAllah, they're proper, like, disciplined, they're strong-minded. And like I said to you, that can take you to a dark side. You could develop, eating disorders, which are quite common in our society. So we have to be healthy, we have to be balanced. So I'll have, say, for example, barley, or like I said to you, oats. I'll measure, like, try to bake like a cup, portions as well. So after that, I'll have, say, for example, if I have a meal after, like, for dinner or lunch, I'll have like a salad with the protein, maybe some brown rice, and then, I eat when I feel hungry. That's generally how it should be. Yeah. As people, especially as Muslims, that we eat when we feel hungry. We don't eat just for the sake of eating.
Because we've spoken about the fact that obviously you have breakfast, lunch and dinner, and we discussed whether, well, you asked the question, do we need to have the breakfast, lunch and dinner? And how much you're having for the breakfast, lunch and dinner? Because it's almost like you have a very big breakfast and you have a very big lunch and you have a very big dinner, but really we know it's to eat small portions, but throughout the day.
That's the best, bro. Like, you said it yourself. You have people like bodybuilders or people that try to,
Alhamdulillah.
Yarhamukallah. So like, say for example, people that try to lose weight. Yeah. You have like, six meals. They have some people that have 6 meals. And when it's 6 meals, brothers and sisters and, viewers out there, our friends, it's not 6 like Nando meals. Big. No, it's small portions throughout the day, and that is actually that is actually the best way and closest to the Sunnah. Yeah. Where you have small meals and they're spaced throughout the day, and that's how So if, say for example, some brothers and sisters and people maybe complain that their metabolism is slow. Now, when we go for long periods without food, our body goes into like a starvation mode, like where because the body's like, okay, we're not getting food regularly, so we need to hold on to whatever we're getting and store it as fat, as energy.
You can't burn that fat.
You can't, yeah, because you're like, you know, that's a starvation mode. And you know, like you can do that. And if you go into like, you know, we have this new like, you know, movement of like intermittent fasting, where the body, you know, where the body doesn't go. That helps you as well. That also helps you, like, but it's a balance, bro. You got to mix it up, and not everybody is gonna react the same way. You know, like you have intermittent fasting, you have, you know, or even better, if you can fast Mondays and Thursdays, you get, subhanAllah, you win both in dunya and akhirah.
Of course.
You know, and then you just generally like, you know, salads, fruits. If you can have a protein, have chicken.
Are you fasting today?
Can I say on here?
Yeah, you can.
Of course.
Obviously, I don't like it. Well, yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay, because I realised that I've been offering you,
No.
but I just realised. Okay,
no, obviously, yeah, but.
So I didn't mean to expose your good deeds, Zaki. But
That's good.
It's okay. It's okay. So, like I said to you, yeah, like fasting or like, it's like, you know, you get reward in dunya, and also you're preserving your health as well. And when you fast for long periods of time, like your body, like instead of, you know, subhanallah, like this is amazing as well. Like why we have Ramadan, like, yes, to gain taqwa, to gain piety, you know, of our Creator. But what happens while we fast? When we're not consuming food, yeah, our body's not busy with digesting the food, breaking it up. Our body is just solely concentrating on repairing itself. And all, you know, we have cells that are, you know, cure our sick and, you know, prevent us from illness. Like we have cancerous cells, we have toxins in our body, we have cells that are, you know, say for example, like they're not healthy cells. So what the body does, that it recycles them, you know, and it gets rid of them. So subhanAllah, and it's, you know, and then there's another wisdom to why the first thing that we break our fast with generally is water, dates, you know, flush out that stuff. You know, subhanAllah, it's amazing.
It's almost like in Ramadan, I always feel like almost old wounds, like I've got a dodgy knee, I kind of feel it more like.
Because your body's like, you know, it's cleaning itself, it's repairing itself. The inflammation as well, you know, most illnesses as well, you have a lot of illnesses that are caused by inflammation. You know, you have arthritis, you have, you know, the list goes on. You know, also there are many like, you know, inflammation in the body. So it's important that we try to take care of our health, brothers.
So just going back to what you do as a profession, which is cupping.
Hijama, yes.
Hijama, yeah. So just for anyone listening that doesn't know what that is, could you give us a very, very brief, what do you do?
Okay. So cupping is a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's two types of cupping. There's the wet cupping and there's the dry cupping. Now, cupping existed before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It wasn't something that was exclusive to Islam. It existed before Islam. And the oldest, you could say, documentation of hijama that we have dates back to ancient Egypt. Yeah, but the only reason it could be before ancient Egypt, but the only reason that we have those records is because the ancient Egyptians used to record stuff on their hieroglyphics, and, you know, obviously they used to record stuff. That's why we have those evidences of cupping. Now, hijama is something that is amazing, yeah, not because first and foremost, as a Muslim, like I said to you, we believe that hijama is beneficial. Now, there's a huge clash between Western medicine and Eastern medicine, and there will always be this kind of like, you know, you could say like versus kind of mentality where, you know, Western medicine believes that, you know, it's the best, or, you know, when I say it's the best, you know, they have medication, they have ways, they have, you know, whatever it may be. And you have Eastern medication, or, you know, it could be prophetic medicine, where we have natural healing. We look at healing the body through a holistic kind of method, like, you know, taking everything into consideration: health, lifestyle, stress. You know, because when we're stressed, our body, you know, produces cortisol. It's a stress hormone in our body that affects our health big time. You know, it could bring up, it could bring the onset of diabetes type 2, especially if you have a really bad diet and you're overweight. You know, so subhanAllah, hijama, what it is, it's a simple procedure. We apply cups and we pump, or we create a vacuum, like an artificial inflammatory kind of effect on the body, and the bad blood or the veins underneath expand, causing the bad blood to come up to the surface area. thereby it's like you create like a fake inflammation in the body, where we have anti-inflammatory properties in our body. You know, white blood cells, red blood cells, they go to work. You know, we take the cup off after a period of 10 minutes. We use a surgical blade. We make small incisions. I mean, when hijama is done properly, it shouldn't be that painful as Faisal. How was it that painful when you went through it?
No.
But you did feel like little scratches.
Yes.
Yeah, that's normal. And you know, throughout certain areas in the body, like say if we go lower to the back, it's more sensitive. Yeah. So there are certain places where it is more sensitive, and you're gonna feel it a bit more.
The general sunnah, would it be just the back, and is there a general like?
Okay. Now the main acupressure points.
Yeah.
Are through the back.
Yeah.
So how we gain access to like major organs or certain illnesses in the body, that we generally speaking, it is done through the back. So yeah, there's certain point. Like say for example, there's a point where the Prophet ﷺ would do it. It's called the kahil. That's just where the neck connects with the spine. Yeah. So that's very, very beneficial. That's subhanAllah, that's very, very good for the body and the mind. You know, you extract the bad blood out. So if it's done properly, you know, small incisions. The incisions shouldn't be deep. They shouldn't be long. Just a touch, you know, just slight incisions, superficial cuts, and that is sufficient. And you know, subhanAllah, it flushes. You know, and many like critics. You will always have critics in life, whatever you do. You know, and subhanAllah is the nature of Bani Adam. You know, the story of the donkey and the man. It's just a famous story. You know, that whatever you do, people will always criticize whatever, like people, you know, anything in life that you do, people will hate, people will criticize. No, brother, you can't be a vegan, or, you know, brother, you don't know what you're talking about. No, you know, there'll always be people that will criticize. And likewise, when it comes to like Western medicine and Eastern medicine, there'll be critics on both sides. Now, I'm not telling people out there, you know, don't resort to Western medication, don't resort, you know, if you need, if push comes to shove, I'm not saying to you, don't go to your GP. No, but always try your best not to pop a pill. You know, because as we know, these pharmaceutical, you know, industries, or these, you know, medications, some of them do work. Some of them are a temporary fix. And like I said to you, referring back to the brother that, you know, my uncle, you know, we like to call him uncle out of respect, you know, who's a nutritionist. He was a GP for more than 10 years. He left his profession because he saw that he wasn't helping cure people. He was just helping mask the symptoms. If someone, yeah, and that's what, and that, I'm not saying all Western medication, but I'm saying the pharmaceutical industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Now, I'm not somebody who's like, you know, I'm not a conspiracist, but I'm gonna say how it is, innit? You know, do you understand? Like people popping pills, and you know, even like, say for example, people that have high blood pressure, people that come to me with high blood pressure and hijama, it is very, very effective for people that have high blood pressure. Very effective, and we have like studies that are, you know, you could you know, refer back to, that hijama is so effective for people that have high blood pressure. Now, if you go to your GP, he will give you statins. Yeah. Now, just one pill. Yeah. Just for high blood pressure. I think it's high blood or cholesterol. This pill is more than $1 billion industry a year. Just $1 billion. That's one pill, brother. More than $1 billion, or even maybe more, if I'm not mistaken. So why are we going to resort to masking these symptoms when we can try like natural remedies, holistic remedies, you know, to try and cure us, you know, bi'idhnillah azza wa jal.
Or to prevent, right?
Or to prevent, yeah. So hijama, you know, and eating healthy and, you know, having herbs, it's not all preventative, it's not all curative. We should also use it as a preventative measure. You know, so, you know, I'll give you an example, like, you know, people that smoke, you know, we all have habits, you know, no one's perfect at the end of the day, you know, we all have shortfalls that we have, you know, people that smoke. You know, why are you gonna, like, you know, inshallah we all, you know, leave these habits. So I'm not trying to pick on people that smoke, but I'm saying like smoking, okay, listen, we know that it's haram, yeah, but listen, if it wasn't haram, let's just say that, why would you do it? Because it affects your health. In the long run, you know, it affects your pockets. You're gonna earn, all that money that you're gonna earn, you're gonna put a percentage of it into your wealth. You know, you're gonna spend that money, you're gonna waste that money. Allah's gonna ask you about that money, you know, and why are you going to resort to that, and someone telling you, oh, sorry, brother, you have lung cancer, or people that chew like tobacco? You know, I have a dear friend of mine who's an uncle of mine, you know, may Allah give him shifa. I mean, you know, he's got cancer now. He's got throat cancer. And he used to, obviously, inshallah, Allah cure him and, you know, make him well, healthy again. That he used to chew a lot of that tobacco and that stuff that you find, you know, in the sub-Asian culture, and even in North African culture as well. They chew tobacco and they put it up in their gums. So why are you gonna, like, you know, have that, and then for one day the doctor say to you, oh, sorry, you have cancer, where deep down in your heart, you know what, if I didn't smoke, I could have prevented that. Or, like, I'm not saying that everyone that has lung cancer is because of smoking. There are people out there that do get lung cancer or lung illnesses, and they haven't smoked a cigarette in their life. But like I say, you know, prevention is better than cure. So this is what we have to look into. You know, and how bad would you feel, brother Sam, yeah, if, say, for example, like you had an illness that you know that you could have made some effort to prevent it?
I brought it on myself, yeah.
Do you understand? Wouldn't you feel like guilty? Like, wouldn't you feel like, oh, you know what? If only I didn't do that, or if only I had a healthier habit or a healthier lifestyle, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
So, bro, let's say if you have a headache,
Yeah.
you'd never pop a paracetamol?
I try my best. Honestly, like, you know, my mum and my mother-in-law will tell you, yeah, you know, hopefully she watches this as well. I try my best, and they always have a go at me. Like, I say to them, oh, I got a really bad headache. They're like, oh, you don't want to take paracetamol, like you're anti-pills. Here's, like, my mother-in-law, subhanAllah, sometimes she'll offer it to me, and out of respect, sorry, mother-in-law, I'll take it, and I won't actually put it in my mouth, innit? I'll put it in my pocket, or I'll hide it, you know. So I try my best, I try my utmost best not to take pills unless I have to. Like the other week, sorry, bro.
No, carry on.
The other week, yeah, I had an infection in my gums, my teeth.
Okay.
Just I had an infection there, and I was literally in so much pain that I couldn't work. How I'd like to work, I couldn't work, full stop. So I try my best not to go to the dentist, or, you know, I try my best. I like garlic. Garlic's a really good painkiller. Yeah, it's a really good antibiotic. You have garlic, you have onion, whatever it may be. So I try my best. My mum gave me, you know, that natural, you know, she's like, okay, if you don't like taking pills, here's a garlic. So I try to bite on the garlic. Clove is very, very good as well for people that have tooth decays and they're really in pain. Just like a quick fix until they go to the dentist. Again, you see, substituting, you know, or helping Eastern medicine and Western medicine, yeah? So when you go to the dentist, but in the meantime, you have clove, yeah? So that will relieve that pain. So I had to go to the dentist because I was in so much pain. And obviously the dentist would like to me, you have an infection, a severe infection, you need antibiotics. I had no choice but to take antibiotics. So I'm not, like I said to you, it's a balance. You know, I'm not saying to people that if you're playing football and you break your leg, you know what, go home, bandage it up, put some olive oil in it. You know? that
was a point that I'm happy you said that, because I'm happy you said that, because that was a point that I was coming to.
How did you go on? Sorry, go on.
I know people. I agree with what you're saying. I also agree that the pharmaceutical industry is I would argue that their initial their forefront of their intention is to make money, and I would also argue that a lot of the pills that we take are to mask the pain, not to cure it. However, I would also argue that there is an extreme level, and to say that I would never take a pill or never take medication is also, I would maybe argue, an extreme level, because, you know, there are some times where you would, like you said, need them antibiotics because you have the infection. Yeah. And so I'm happy you said that, because that was essentially the argument I was going to make. So for you to have said that, it kind of eradicates the argument.
You know, it's always taking like a balanced approach. And like I said to Brother Sam, or, you know, yourself, like, if you need an operation, go get the operation, innit? Yeah. Like, you know, I'm not saying to you, like, you know, cover it with olive oil and put some, you know, like, you know, natural. That's not gonna fix the problem, innit? Right.
You got to use the means that.
You got to use the means that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has given you, innit? Like, you know, you have a mind, you have a brain, use it. You know, mashallah, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has given us brains, you know, to use them, essentially. So yeah, that's it really.
How did you feel when you took the antibiotics?
Well, after maybe a week, it started working.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said to you, you know, I use that as a last. If I have no choice, I'll have to use it. But generally speaking, brothers and sisters and friends out there, you know, don't resort. You know, the first thing that you resort to is if it, say for example, a cold. You know, why don't you take honey, ginger, lemon, instead of going straight to Lemsip? Try different things. You know, it's not going to harm you. In fact, it's either going to benefit you, or if worse comes to worse, then you can take that, you know, that Lemsip or whatever it may be. So what I'm trying to say is that don't jump straight to the pills. Don't go to the pills.
Don't become dependent upon them.
Don't become dependent on it. And you know, there's a big issue right now going around where people, you know, like the Western medicine kind of like frontier is actually worried that people are becoming very resistant to antibiotics. Yeah, people are becoming very resistant to them because, you know, we're using them excessively. So when we start to, our body becomes less respondent to them. So now people are actually worried that soon people are going to have really bad illnesses, and these antibiotics are just going to be like useless. So again, why? Because we're using them excessively. Our bodies are not effective to responding to illnesses and, you know, illnesses as effective as they were before. You know, so that's another point as well. So
I think very much that society, we're not really educated on natural remedies whatsoever, are we? We're very much introduced to the medicine as the first port of call.
Yeah.
For myself, definitely, I as soon as I got a headache, I would take an ibuprofen or aspirin or whatever it is. But when I got married to my wife, she's so anti any pill, any medicine whatsoever. Really? Very, very anti it, and it's made me a bit more conscious to it. How the first thing I would think about is if I had a headache, take a pill, even maybe before even hydrating myself.
Exactly, drink a lot of water.
Yeah, exactly. These things it's almost like look for the not even talking about honey or things like that, but actually just look for the basic cures before just popping that box. That's something that I've become a bit more conscious of the last few years.
Mashallah. So yeah, like I said to you, going back to the brother that my uncle. The uncle, the nutritionist. So he used to work as a GP for 10 years. He left that profession because, like I said to you, the pills, he was just feeling like he was, giving people pills and it was just masking the illnesses.
So his sole intention for leaving that was because of that?
Wallahi, yeah.
Wow.
He said that. And imagine a GP.
And he must be on a good salary.
Yeah, he's been doing it for more than 10 years. So, and now, subhanAllah, you have like, not to be unfair to like general practitioners, there are general practitioners, GPs that are out there now propagating that, they don't want the last thing that they want to give is pills. And, there's been many like documentaries on BBC and etc. whatever it may be that, you are having GPs now. There's a huge movement of GPs not wanting to prescribe, pills. And obviously when it doesn't need to be. So he became a nutritionist and subhanAllah, akhi, he helps people, through their diabetes, through their cholesterol, through their obesity, subhanAllah, all via food. Now, remember Aristotle, I think it was Aristotle where he said, let thy food be medicine and let thy medicine be food. That should be your kind of outlook. Like, your food is medicine. And there's many sayings that every time you eat something, you're either feeding a disease or you're curing a disease.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
So these are quite some strong
powerful,
statements.
man.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff, like,
Akhi, moving on like to like a slightly different but still on the same kind of topic. I'm interested to know your stance on coffee because me and Sam are obviously big advocates of coffee. We drink a lot of coffee. Our podcast is called Freshly Grounded, and the play on words is that we love coffee. Sam has a coffee shop as well, and Freshly Grounded in the sense that we like to talk a lot about like the deen, which like grounds you, and like we're both kind of fresh to the deen to an extent, and so that's kind of the reason the name Freshly Grounded. And I haven't actually had the coffee discussion with you, but I remember last time we spoke, you hinted at a negative side of coffee or not negative side of coffee, but the fact that you don't drink it, you stay away from it. Now, is that because you yourself just haven't reacted well to it, or is it because you feel there is a negative side of coffee? Just before we go into answer, because I'm really intrigued, there's a lot of articles online and that kind of stuff that talk about, if you have 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day, it's actually very good for your body, very beneficial. So I'm very, very much intrigued in your opinion on coffee.
Okay, generally speaking, coffee, it does have a lot of benefits, yeah? And believe it or not, coffee, subhanAllah, is very beneficial in the sense that it's good. There are studies that are out there that actually saying that it's good for your heart. The caffeine kind of makes you feel awake.
Stimulant.
Yeah, it's a stimulant, naturally. And I personally feel that I do drink coffee, but the coffee that I generally tend to stay away from, your normal high street supermarket kind of coffee beans. I'll tell you one thing about, I had coffee and I've had like pure Arabica coffee. I've had one of the best coffees that I've had were from Ethiopia. And it was a brother, subhanAllah, he's got a black seed, Habba Soda, another amazing remedy that we can talk about maybe later on. But coming back to coffee, he had a farm in Kenya, and he used to have a lot of merchants that used to come from Ethiopia and used to give him the good stuff, like we like to call it, the good healthy stuff. The high grade, brother, the halal high grade stuff. And this coffee was out of this world. And subhanAllah, for me, it all comes down to the quality of the coffee. Like I said to you, food now, we live in a heavily industrialized kind of society where, there's mass food being produced. And whenever food is being mass produced, know that the quality of that food will be compromised without a doubt. Because otherwise, they wouldn't be making the money that they're making.
For sure.
Now, like I said to you, I'm not a conspiracist, but if a bus is red, you call that bus red. Sir? Yeah? Or I think at least that's the saying. What they say, if it sounds like a cat, or what was it?
I don't know what
I can't remember. But anyway,
I hear what you're saying.
but
You're not.
saying
The thing is, yeah, this conspiracy thing, like you're just conscious of the real world, mate, and the really what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't understand the bus is red thing. Hold on.
No, but
If you're saying you can't deny that what's clearly true,
you
innit?
can't deny what you know. If
you got to call a spade a spade.
that's the one. There's another one as well.
Not a big spoon.
Yeah. Not a big spoon, or a fork. So, but like I said to you, you know, it's about the quality of the food, isn't it?
So what about coffee? That's like, for example, coffee shop coffee where they're not. It's not instant coffee beans. It's like
powdered or
I don't know. How does it work, Sam?
My beans are from Ethiopia.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
So they got some.
I thought they're from Brazil.
It's a mixture.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously now you have like
I
the
like your
main.
beans.
You have the main leading countries that are Brazil, Ethiopia.
Kenya?
Yeah, you had Kenya, but now it's mainly Brazil now. They're proper.
Yeah.
They're
Brazil's
big now. And
Colombia is Colombia big for something else?
No, Colombia's got coffee as well.
Yeah?
As well
Yeah,
as
mashallah. But in terms of coffee, brother, like, you know, me generally, I tend to find the reason why I said to you what I said to you is that if I have coffee, I have a high and I have a dip.
No doubt, yeah.
You know, and for me, like, you know, my dad and my mum, you know, they love coffee, and they're probably like the addicts in our house. You know, they're obsessed with coffee. Like, you know, they'll go for a coffee just to socialize, or just just to spend time, you know, whatever it may be. You know, coffee in the house, coffee at home, coffee in the cafe. So they're big coffee fans.
But you personally avoid it, do you? Or?
I do avoid it only because I don't like the dip.
Yeah, of course.
If I do have it, I'll have it in small amounts. I do avoid it because I don't like the dip that I feel after. I feel proper energetic, and then I get that dip where I feel.
What goes up must come down, my brother.
Yeah,
it's true. That's the thing. You have a coffee in the morning, you feel great, but you can definitely it doesn't maintain, does it?
No.
And the thing is, you have to when you dip, you almost have to have another one.
That's what I was saying last time.
Before you know it, you're
3 or 4 cups a day.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, Sam. Though.
Go on.
How many cups of coffee do you say that you have in a day?
Me, I don't even drink that much coffee anymore. To be fair,
is it Faisal?
Yeah, because I was surprised, Sam. In Dubai, I was getting hit. I have to have at least 1 cup a day, and I might have two. I probably have 2 cups a day, and if I have a third, it'll be decaf. So I have 2 cups a day, and I actually when we were in Dubai, we had a funny story. Me and Sam were about to start an episode of Freshly Grounded, our first episode in Dubai, and I said, Sam, you're gonna have a coffee for the podcast, like, to sip during the podcast. And he said, nah, I'm gonna go. I'm cool. I'm feeling alright. And I said, all right, fine, I'll do the same. And then I started getting the most banging headache, and I knew that it was because I hadn't had coffee, because my body is so used to having coffee. If I don't have a coffee in the morning, and by about 2-3 p.m. I get a really bad headache. So, the minute I sip a coffee, the headache goes, and the exact thing happens. So Sam
you sent me out on the midday heat, didn't you?
Sam actually went out. Bless you.
The thing about Dubai, I was quite happy to like not have coffee, because I didn't think that I'd be able to get very good coffee out there,
right.
and we didn't, to be fair. I had one okay iced coffee, which was from Starbucks, but I think you can't really. I had to go and get. I got you some like. You really bog standard instant like
coffee, and I fixed it. But here's the thing, right?
Mad it fixed though, isn't it? You had a.
As soon as I had the coffee, fixed my headache.
See, that's another problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. But actually, there's 2 things I'll go off on that conversation. First,
did you take that coffee home, by the way?
Yeah, I know you took it. Did you?
No, you took it.
Perhaps.
Or is it Shai's house?
Yeah, I think it's a Shai's house, maybe. Anyway, listen. My point. I have 2 things to go off on. One is that I was speaking to my wife literally 2 days ago, and I said to her that I've had, without going into detail, my stomach hasn't been quite right recently,
okay, and
since I come off dairy, it got fixed, and even now, like, I was analysing my food and stuff, and I've been maintaining quite a healthy diet, and me and my wife were breaking down what I eat to like analyse what it could be, and she said, look, have you tried like not having the coffee, because the only thing out of your diet I can think of that could be doing it is the coffee. And I said, do you know what, subhanAllah, you're probably right. And then so she said, look, try not having coffee for the next couple of days and just see if that fixes it, because nothing else in your diet seems to be could be messing it up. And so I agreed with her, and then the next day I woke up and I said to her, look, I'm gonna have a coffee. I'll do it on the weekend. So I was actually from yesterday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was actually meant to not have coffee for 3 days to see how it affects me. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a real struggle at work without it, so let me do it over the weekend. So over the weekend, inshallah, I'm going to not have coffee for those
Without
days.
going into detail, please do not go into detail, but you're saying you've got a slight upset stomach.
I haven't got upset stomach.
But it's not strong?
No, my stomach.
Or just,
I can't go into detail without going into detail.
But obviously that caffeine is going to really upset your stomach, isn't it?
Yeah, but you don't forget caffeine is also you could say like a mild form of laxative.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as he
Of course, but
are you saying that you can't, that you're going? I don't want to go into it too much. Are you saying you're going to the toilet more often?
no, going to the toilet is fine. I don't have a problem going
Is
to
it
the
the
toilet.
runs?
I actually find a coffee help that.
But it blocks you. You're blocked.
No.
It's
Like,
too personal, isn't it?
Is it the
It is-
opposite?
You have to tell. You have to tell everyone what is it. What really is the issue?
Is it-
right, so to the 30,000 people listening, so I might get the runs.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
obviously, yeah. So
Is that too much information?
No,
It's
no.
a-
I mean,
I've said it now.
You know
Who
what?
cares?
Like, you know,
Who
look,
cares?
okay, but let's talk about it in terms of like, you know, from a healthy kind of perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, you know, what comes, you know, what, obviously I'm not going to say to you like, oh, everyone needs to analyze what that comes out of them. We're not going into details, but you know,
No, but you should. I've heard that it's important to look and check if it's healthy.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna, basically that's what I'm going to say. So when we do relieve ourselves, it's very, very important that we check, you know, okay, how it is, because I know some people will lie, like, yeah, I know some people that habitually check their stools.
Bro, when I pee, I check if I'm dehydrated or not. Because generally after your morning pee, it should be clear because you should have had enough water. And so if you have an afternoon or late afternoon, like you're going to the toilet and it's like yellow, okay, look, we're on a podcast. You need to be drinking more water, really. So I check to make sure if I'm like hydrated or not.
Okay. So no, but generally
Shoot me. You'd like to really sound.
But generally, but generally speaking, like like it is a good indicator of how your stools are doing. So like example, like when I used to have dairy, I used to get the runs. It's only when I fixed my diet, cleaned it, everything went back to normal. So, you know, like I said to you, going back to listening to your body, you know, your body, subhanAllah, it has a good way of actually showing you, okay, this actually works, this doesn't. So that's it really, generally speaking. But like
analyze your diet.
Yeah, analyze your diet. And you know, another thing as well we haven't spoken about, you know, is exercise. You know, like you're working out.
How often do you work out, brother? Because you're you know, you got a bit of bulk to you, mashallah, tabarakallah.
No, but obviously, generally speaking, I try to work out.
How often?
Maybe like 3-4 times a week.
Mashallah.
Yeah, but
that's solid.
Yeah, but you know, look, to be honest, when it comes to like, you know, working out, and if obviously there's, you know, for me it depends on the person's goals. Like some brothers, mashallah, you know, like, you know, they want to like become big, like it's like more bodybuilding. That's not. I don't really like to take that path, like bodybuilding, and you know, like I don't feel that's good for my body, because I always tend to feel that when I'm big, or like as in super big, like I feel like my body slows down. I don't like taking supplements. I don't like taking protein shakes. I'm not, you know, me personally, for all those brothers out there, you know, don't jump on me yet, but I don't take protein shakes. I don't like taking protein shakes.
Where'd you get this protein from? All natural, yeah?
All natural, yeah.
How, do you kind of analyze how much protein you're taking?
No,
in?
I don't.
You
No, I
might
don't.
go-
No,
oh,
I
so you
don't.
Do you know how much you're taking?
No,
in
I
per
don't.
day?
Well, like I said to you, when it comes to you know, to working out, and like I said to you, I'm not that regimented in a sense. Like, I know, mashallah, brothers that are more you know, qualified, and you know, you have a brother, one of my friends, brother Massacre, take a bit of training. You know,
You know Massacre?
Yeah, I know Massacre. Yeah,
Bro,
he comes to me for hijama sometimes.
No way.
Yeah, he comes.
We
he's up north, Luton.
we travelled
Luton,
with him.
Yeah.
We travelled with him to Gambia.
Yeah, mashallah.
Yeah.
They have, you know, the brothers, they have, mashallah, nice charity in Gambia. So, you know, he comes to me for hijama as well. So, you know, you
Are
have...
we just going to skim past the fact that he knows Mass and we know Mass?
I know Massacre very well, alhamdulillah.
The Muslim world is quite small. I found.
Yeah,
Like,
the community, generally speaking, mashallah,
Mashallah, may Allah bless him. He's a
he's a
top
good,
brother,
yeah,
man.
and mashallah, he knows in that field.
Good
like
friend of mine.
He's a big
He's a
man,
big
isn't
brother.
he?
Yeah, you know,
Mashallah.
certain people, you know, say for example, certain brothers or certain individuals, they have certain goals. Some brothers, like, you know, they want big, you know, mass, or some brothers, you know, for strength. Well, maybe some people want to cut down, some people want to lose weight. You know, everyone has different goals. You know, some people want to, you know, some people, like I said, you want to cut up, or some people just want to remain trim, healthy. You know, and subhanAllah, me, generally speaking, for my height, you know, I don't like to be very big, you know, because, you know, my joints, there's pressure on my joints. So like I said to you, I'm quite in detail with regards to those stuff. Like, you know, I just don't want to be big because, you know, like, oh, it's a big movement that everyone's, and you know, subhanAllah, there's so much pressure on society, like how a man should look like, or how a woman should look like. You know, like I said to you, everyone is different. You know, every diet is different. Every person is different. Every body is different. You know, sometimes some bodies, some like you know, body kind of styles may not be able to handle a certain weight because it's too much. Like, say for example, I have brothers that generally tend to be on the heavier side. They'll come to me complaining with backaches. They'll come to me complaining with knee aches. Brother, you are going to have knee aches because your body is carrying so much weight. Brother, you're going to get lower back aches because, you know, your body is carrying a lot of weight. So, you know, like I said to you, me personally, I like to stick to my lane.
What kind of training do you do?
Well, it depends. Like I said to you, for strength, there's different types of training. You know, for strength, generally, you know, Brother Shamsuddin, may Allah preserve him. I mean, you know, he kind of taught me certain methods. Like you have the 5x5 kind of method where it's compound exercises.
Does he train?
Yeah, mashallah. Brother Shamsuddin trains. He trains hard.
Really?
Yeah, mashallah. And you know, another thing, you know, going back to meat. You know, we spoke about meat. You know, people. Okay, so if you're gonna consume meat, yeah, you need to be training. You need to be lifting. You need to be working. You know, and even like, you know, and even in Ibn Qayyim's book, you know, he would generally not recommend a meat diet unless the person has a laborious job, you know?
Yeah.
If you have a laborious job, no problem. And if you're lifting weights and you're going in, when I say you're going in, you're lifting heavy and you're putting your body through work, then okay, labets, you know, no problem. Then you can have, you know, meat here and there and, you know, whatever it may be that you feel that you need it. Because obviously, like, let's not deny the fact that meat does give you some sort of strength,
of course,
you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, like I do a 5x5 if I want to increase my bulk. So 5x5 is basically you have 5 exercises, 5 reps, 5 sets. So you have the deadlift, you have the squats, you have military press, yeah, to work your shoulders and your upper, and then you have rows, and you also have bench press. So if a person wants to build mass, generally speaking, you know, as far as I know, maybe brothers can correct me on this, this is what works for me. Like I said to you, works for me. I do the 5x5 and I lift heavy and lower reps, and I find my body tends to put on mass. So if you want to cut up, then you do like isolated, you incorporate more cardio. So it all depends. It all depends, you know, generally speaking.
Do you do a lot of cardio?
I kind of hate running. But if I do cardio, I play football. Okay. I used to like do some martial arts here and there, and that used to help me a lot. I've stopped at the moment, but you know, if you say, for example, like some people, they hate running. So find something, like another thing for brothers and sisters, you know, and people that are trying to be healthy out there, find something that you enjoy, that you want to do, and that you can actually, break a sweat. Okay. You know, break a sweat actually. You know, whether it's football, whether it's martial arts, whether it's whatever it may be. As long as you're exercising and getting that blood flowing throughout your, you know, a lot of people, they don't even exercise. And when I say exercise, it doesn't have to be strenuous. You know, if you're looking just to maintain a certain degree of health, walk every day 45 minutes. You know, have a nice walk, increase your, fast walk at a faster pace.
Am I right in thinking first to burn fat, a good thing to do is before you've eaten anything is to go on like a uphill walk or
incline walk. Yeah.
Before you've eaten anything, is that?
Yeah. No. Well.
Obviously, have your honey.
Yeah.
Honey in your water, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, then you go out.
Yeah, but you know, there's also, like I said to you again, there's so much. You know, like in this world of fitness and health, there's so much like conflicting. Yeah. We call them difference of opinions. You know how in Islam, like there's difference of opinions. Yeah. Like there will always be difference of opinions. Like I said to you, no dairy, like vegans, different, even like difference of opinions when it comes to training, high intensity workouts, lifting heavy. You know, so many different
big difference of opinion. Everyone thinks they have the formula.
Yeah, everyone thinks that they have the formula. Everyone, you know, but like I said to you, going back to it, different bodies, different solutions. Yeah. So I mean, for a person, you know, Brother Sam and Faisal, for a person to come and say this diet works for everyone, this workout, you know, works for everyone and gives you 100% results. It's a very, very sweeping statement. And, you know, you need to put your money where your mouth is, especially if you're saying to people that, you know, I guarantee, you know, but like I said, different bodies, different body makeups, not everybody is the same.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
And I think generally that works with health, that works with diet, and that works with workouts.
SubhanAllah. Listen, let's switch it up a bit.
More than this.
Yeah, man. We got to switch it up. It's very interesting.
Very good.
What we'll do is, ready? We got some current events. All right, so let's take a break, and then and analyze if we're hydrated or dehydrated, and then we'll go into some current events, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Back from our break. We are back from our break.
How was your break?
Great. How was yours?
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Good.
Been waiting for you, to be fair.
Thanks, bro. Should we go into some current events? Current events. Current events.
Red one.
Hey, Red.
Hello, Red. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you guys?
We haven't heard so much of you this episode.
We haven't, but
because we've been hearing so much.
I've really enjoyed listening to.
It's been good, isn't it?
Huh?
It's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been really, good, really insightful.
Thank you, brother.
Probably gonna take everything into account.
Inshallah, man. It's inspired me also.
Yeah, inshallah. I'll probably have a discussion with you afterwards as well.
No problem.
Oh yeah, Red White. Should we mention? Yeah, go on.
What problem have you got? Go on. Faisal's told us all his problems. What have you got?
Yeah, well, my problem right now is basically I broke my leg in 2015.
Okay.
Football was it football accident?
No, it was ice skating.
Ice skating.
It was ice skating.
Potential photography.
Where was that?
It was in Canary Wharf.
Okay.
And I broke my fibula bone. I don't know whether you're familiar.
Yes.
Okay, so
Your fib.
my fib, and it was just above the ankle. So after that happened, the bone reformed and is healthy, it's completely fine now. I don't really have a problem with it, but the cartilage in my ankle is quite, deformed. So I don't have a lot of it, so you can hear a lot of clicking noise, whatever. But the main problem is the muscle and blood flow around that area now.
Okay.
So what I was wondering is, how can hijama help that in any way? Like, is it possible to get hijama done on your leg or in that area?
Yeah, you can. Obviously, with the hijama, it will increase the blood flow to that specific area, and it will increase, maybe if there is a problem, or if there is stagnant blood within that area, alhamdulillah, it's healed. You said it's healed properly, alhamdulillah.
The bone's reformed.
So it's just the muscle.
It's just the muscle, it suffers from stiffness sometimes. It can swell a little bit.
Like I said to you, with hijama, you can never go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It will, like I said to the brother, hijama or cupping therapy or wet cupping therapy, because you have two types of cupping therapies. You have the dry cupping and you have the wet cupping. So now the dry cupping, a lot of people tend to do it, especially like people that are not like, say for example, they're not Muslim, because when they see the blood, and even Muslims as well, when they see the blood, they're like, that looks painful, I'm not going to do it. So they're put off. So me personally, obviously, like, I believe, obviously according to our Sunnah as well, that wet cupping is the most effective, because with the dry cupping, you may be releasing the toxins, you may be loosening up the muscle, but you're not extracting anything out. It's still there. You might increase blood flow. There might be some repair going on, but it's not as effective. And Allah knows best, and maybe people that are more knowledgeable than me probably know better. It's not as effective as at wet cupping. So if you've done hijama in that area, hopefully we'll do with a small cup. Right. Obviously the surface area should be enough for us to place a cup on there. So you could do the hijama on there, and that would increase the blood flow to the area. Hopefully, and hijama, like I said to you, is the only therapy that is, all other therapies, like, it's like a massage. Like a massage, you're pushing on the muscle. Any other therapy, it's like a positive effect on the, or like a push kind of effect on the muscle or on the body. But with sucking, with hijama, it's the only therapy that does the opposite. It's a negative effect. Or I could say the other way, where you're sucking out the muscle. Okay. Or it's sucking out rather than pushing. Right. So that's so that would benefit you a lot. People as well, brothers and sisters or friends that have issues with like joints, you could say like you said, cartilage, or like clicking noises. You could incorporate like glucosamine. Our body produces glucosamine already, and that's to help the joints, the cartilage, etc. But you could have glucosamine. That would benefit you. Okay. Inshallah. Have you tried maybe physio as well?
I've tried physio. I've had physio.
How's the physio gone?
It was good. It's quite painful. It was good, but it wasn't really. Like, it was good for a short period of time, but in the long run, it didn't really make that much of an effect. Okay. I've been doing like exercises on my own to try and recover it as much as possible, and that's worked. I actually did a bit of acupuncture in the middle as well.
Yeah, how was that?
Didn't.
Oh, that really face shows me that you're not a big fan of that.
you know, the acupuncture. I mean, I've done acupuncture before.
Yeah.
I don't know where I stand with acupuncture. Maybe it's because of my lack of knowledge with regards to acupuncture, but I'm not really a big fan, to be honest.
To be fair, like when I went and I came out after like having 5 sessions, yeah, I can feel like the joints less, like, so it's a lot less stiff than before. So I got a bit more freedom with it. But in terms of like the morning pain, sometimes
you still get it.
Running and swelling, it's not really dealt with that in any way. And also with how you've managed to like describe hijama and, you know, talk about it in so much depth. When I went for acupuncture and actually asked about it, not much was said. So the person doing it actually didn't have too much knowledge on why there's more blood flow or what's happening whatsoever. And they just said like, you know, it's an ancient kind of treatment. And
they always say that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know what I've noticed, yeah? Like whenever they want to like, what's the word? Not devalue something, but whenever they want to like belittle something, like, oh, well, that's an ancient remedy. So, oh, that's an ancient therapy. So, and that's how, like, unfortunately, like whenever the masses hear, well, that's an ancient therapy. What you know, if I said that to you, Sam, how would your reaction be? Like, oh, that's an ancient.
It's old. It's
out of date.
Yeah, out of date. Yeah.
You know, and
we've got new ones.
Yeah, we've got new ones that, you know. But me, you know what you could do, brother. My advice, inshallah, maybe do a few sessions of hijama. And
do you know any good hijama therapists that?
Mashallah, there's many. Obviously, not there's many hijama therapists or cupping therapists out there.
I very much recommend the brother Abdul Hakim.
Yeah. So remind me, what's the Instagram?
No problem, akhi. The Instagram is Sunnah Remedies, yeah?
Sunnah Remedies.
And for those
Sunnah_Remedies.
Yeah, Sunnah_, yeah, sorry about Sunnah_Remedies. And for brothers that, say for example, that don't live in the vicinity of Northwest London or West London or maybe East London, we have a, like I said to you, I'm also, you know, an employee or a contractor or a, alhamdulillah, supporter of the London Cupping Clinic. You know, I work for that place. So brothers that are in South London, Deep South, Croydon, you know, they can come to the London Cupping Clinic. You can find it online. The brothers there are really, really nice. Alhamdulillah, I've been with them for 3 years. They also have many, you know, like acquaintances with other, like ICAT in Leicester. Yeah, ICAT in Leicester. It's a hijab, mashallah. ICAT, yeah.
Yeah, that's where Boris is.
Yeah. So, mashallah, we have.
Is it?
Yeah. So they, you know, we have. You know,
strange.
Yeah, so we speak, you know, you know, the
but it's not weird that he knows Massacre. No, joking.
Big up Bozies.
Yeah, mashallah.
Well, everyone just knows everyone.
You know, the brothers that, you know, the brothers that I work for, and, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, we have a GP there, brother Iyad, and we have also brother Yassine. You know, there are, mashallah, the brothers that actually started the clinic. They have a lot of interactions with ICATs in the beginning, I believe. So, alhamdulillah, we are acquainted with them. So, you know, there's many places.
ICAT,
Yeah, ICAT, yeah, that's the one in Leicester, yeah. So they're good as well, mashallah. Although I didn't do my course with them. You know, I done my course with like other bros such as Hijama Nation. I'm doing now. Another brother, the what's it called, the Hijama Clinic. That was a long time ago. I done that with them in Luton. So alhamdulillah, you know, there is this big movement of doing hijama in a proper manner and not just doing it like, you know, there's, you know, with Muslims, you know, the Prophet ﷺ has taught us that when we do something, we have to perfect it. And we have to, you know, professionalize hijama, because unfortunately we live in a day and age where if people don't see that it's professional, you know, and it should be, you know, the sunnah is something of value to us. So we should be able to professionalize it. Someone should be able to do it properly and effectively. And although, yeah, you know, these boards are not like, you know, recognized, or like say, for example, like governed by a specific, yes, they do provide courses, how to do hijama, the basic anatomy of the body, the physiological aspect of the body, whatever it may be, they still do provide you with a foundation. Although I do know many brothers who are older than me, like, you know, I've been doing hijama for 40 years and are far more knowledgeable than me, far more effective at doing hijama than me, and they have no certificate to their name.
Okay.
You know, they don't, so generally, you know, it's good to have a foundation. It's good to have that general knowledge. It's good that you're clued up. It's good that, you know, because you don't want to, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for that person. You know, if someone comes to you, they trust you. You know, like Brother Faisal, he came. And naturally, I would be the same. If I went to somebody, you know, I would be like, okay, now this involves blood. Hygiene is something important. Incisions, something important. Are the blades sterilized? these things.
Fresh cups used.
I use fresh cups like we use in the clinic, in the London Cup Clinic, as well as Sunnah Remedies. The sisters, my wife that does it, the sisters that do it, they are, generally they have a foundation, they have a course that they've done that have provided them with with the foundation. And, as Muslims, we should support each other. And I know sometimes shaitan, so like I said, we all have faults. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you that I'm perfect, but generally speaking, like we should all support each other and we shouldn't hate on each other, do you understand? And that's something that's so common. Like, whenever we see a Muslim that's, maybe opening a cafe, mashallah, has a barber business, we should support it, do you understand? We should help each other. And brothers and sisters, this is something that, we as Muslims believe that our rizq is written. So, like, even if, say, for example, brother Sam's got a barber shop, or I have a barber shop, example, or I have a hijama clinic, and I recommend, that brother's closer to you, or that's not going to reduce from your rizq. And we should, that's not, we shouldn't. And unfortunately, we have this like hungry mentality where it's like, oh no, brother, come to me. No, brother, please. Like, as a community, like, we should, alhamdulillah, like, brother Faisal has a clothing line. If there's people that are developing like, good quality clothes, especially if it's coming from my brother, I'm gonna support that. And it looks nice, it's in fashion. Yeah, the hats, I love the hats, I love the jumpers, I love the I'm gonna support that business. Or a brother that's, who's a nutritionist, you said the brother Boaziz, like, we should be supporting each other, brothers and sisters. That's how we're gonna move forward as an ummah. That's how we help each other. Not by subhanAllah, like, oh, that brother don't know what he's talking about, or he can't give trims, or did you see that skin fade that he gave? Oh my God. He put that we should be supporting each other. Alhamdulillah, that's how we, as an ummah, we grow. And I'm sure many other communities that have become so successful, they support each other. I'm not going to mention any names here, but everyone knows the deal out there, innit? They support each other. If the person comes, they give him a house. They give him an investment, interest-free, brothers. And this is how, as a community, we're going to prosper. This is how we're going to grow. This is how we're going to become, someone that is, a group of ummah that is influential.
Sorry
to go on a run.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, please forgive me. But it's like we always like to belittle each other and hate on each other. Like, no, that brother don't know what he's doing.
Something that you said really just struck a chord. When we did an event last year, actually this past year, actually, called In Light, and it was an event to try and kind of inspire the young people in London. Well, I say London, we actually had some people. We had one brother who came especially from Germany, I believe it was, that day just for the event, and then flew back that night.
MashaAllah.
That was beautiful, man, subhanAllah. Anyway, it was to inspire young people in business, in fitness, in health. And we had an Islamic speaker there, we had a student of knowledge, and he said to the audience, he said that in the Muslim community, we should have brothers who are successful to support other brothers by like doing stuff like how other communities do, like give interest-free loans and invest in their companies, employ people, help them build up their skills, and then give them money to help start up and let them pay you back like the exact amount and that kind of stuff. And that was such a beautiful like reminder, because the way he said it, I didn't just do it justice, but he was basically giving advice on how business people who are already successful now should basically support their employees and support other people by doing that, basically by giving loans out halal.
You're right, Akhi. Support the hustle.
Yeah,
we should have like, we supporting each other, like, because at the end of the day, when you give money to that brother, you're gonna subhanAllah, and you know what, everything is intentions, innit? Imagine like that could be considered as sadaqah, like you're helping a brother's business grow, even though, like, say for example, you might want to buy something else. Akhi, support the brother, because at the end of the day, he's supporting his children. And by him earning money, he can give sadaqah. It's a circle. It's a circle of support that it's like a domino effect. Do you understand? I'm sure, brother, you're not going to waste your money on unnecessary things. You're going to invest your money. You're going to help your children, inshallah. You're going to help your family. You're going to help your community. You got people that without obviously putting you in the spotlight, brother. I've seen a bit of what you do. How many people work underneath you, brother?
I've lost count now, bro. Alhamdulillah, quite a few.
So alhamdulillah, you are the cause. Obviously, Allah is Razzaq, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're that cause that you're helping people. How many wages are you providing for people? Likewise, brother Faisal, do you understand? And this is how we grow, bro. Sorry to be a bit deep.
Good, that's good. It's very,
we
very
need
good.
That stuff, Akhi.
It's very, very good.
It's a perfect.
We can't hate, Akhi. We can't continue this culture of hate and envy and hasad and talking down at each other. And this is like I said to you. We all have faults that we all need to rectify, clean our hearts, and especially that we want khair for someone, innit? Obviously we all have mistakes that we made, but Prophet ﷺ said that none of you truly believe until you want for your brother what you want for yourself. And that's not in aspects of what suits us. That has to be in everything.
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, brother Faisal?
I know exactly what you're
Izaha.
saying. It's a perfect
Shout out
transition.
all my brothers shout out that are trying to make a name for themselves in the sense of trying to
100%.
alhamdulillah provide, like I said to you, takbir training. You have Izaha, you have your businesses, and you have this, for the brothers that I don't know, I can't remember their names, you have so much, and this is and for me, wallah, I love this. Because brothers are actually going into their own businesses. They're active and they're doing their own business, innit? And this is something that, brothers should do. Like, me personally, I always wanted to have my own business. Why? Because I always to work for myself, to be able to be flexible, and to help other people as well. And brothers and sisters and friends out there, wallahi, when I first came into hijama, for me, my father, I've been doing hijama for 10 years on myself. And I always loved hijama because my dad was a proper advocate of hijama. My father, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him. And, he was always like on this health kind of like, like healthy, eating small portions. I mean, if you see my dad, like, when I'm with my dad, people are like, is this guy your brother? Why? Because my dad's taking care of his health. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prolong his life and, put barakah in all of our parents' lives, yeah? So my dad's, he was kind of my first incentive, my first kind of role model that, that allowed me to pursue this path. And I've been doing hijab, like I said to you, since I was 16. I've done it in Morocco, I've done it here, and, and when I became ill, I always I was severely ill. I had infection in my stomach, and I would go to the hospital. I was in A&E. I lost so much weight. I was like, from a personal, this is a personal kind of, outlook where I was really ill, I was really bad, and I had to change my diet. The brother, the GP, the nutritionist that I went to, I had to stay a while with him. Learn how to eat, what to eat. Alhamdulillah, hijama, and every time I'd go to the GP and every time I'd go to A&E, they'll be like, oh, we can't do nothing for you. So imagine how frustrating it must be that you have a particular illness, and this is for those people that are ill out there. They're ill, they go to the GP, they go to the doctor, they know within their bodies they don't feel well, but the GP's like to them, no, you're okay, the blood's come back, or you know what, you have to wait for it to heal. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna wait, for this, innit? So what I changed my diet completely. A dry food, I was juicing, I was taking herbs, alhamdulillah. I was taking more intake of garlic, although my breath didn't help. I was doing hijama. Hijama was a regular thing for me. Like every month I'd do hijama. And by the permission of Allah, alhamdulillah, I was well. After a year or 2 years, akhi, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So akhi, for me, hijama for me, and trying to help Muslims to be healthy, it comes from a personal kind of experience where I know how it feels to be ill and to be stuck in that where you're ill and you feel like you're alone, and alhamdulillah for me it's yes, alhamdulillah, it is my job, alhamdulillah, but I also learn, I travel around the country, I do hijama for many people. I travel around up north. Yesterday I was speaking to Samad, I was speaking to Samad today, and I told him yesterday I was in Hemel Hempstead doing a brother, a Premiership footballer. You meet not other people, forget even high top end clients. You meet so many different peoples. You learn about people's lives. I'm sure you're probably the same when you're in a coffee and you're meeting with your employees or your patient or your customers.
My customers, yeah.
It's amazing, akhi. For me, it's about helping people. Do you understand? Touching people's lives.
Yeah, touching hearts, man.
Touching hearts,
yeah, subhanAllah.
Trying your best, and it's all from Allah. Nothing is from ourselves, akhi, isn't it?
Nothing's from ourselves. And shall we enter current events?
Inshallah.
Let's go. Sorry. Shall we start the first current event?
What's the first current event?
First current event. Who noticed the red skies?
Yes, I noticed the red skies.
Yeah.
I noticed that Faisal Chowdhury got on the roof for the red sky picture. Did he miss it or did he get it?
I think it was a bit late,
It was a little bit late. It was weird. It was such a weird thing. I'd been in the Docklands. I'd been in XL in the inside all day.
Oh yeah.
And just as I left the car park, we were just driving out the car park, and I was like, what's going on here? And it just come out, and it was strange to see. Like,
subhanallah, yeah.
It was mad. Mashallah.
Did you drive, Sam?
I personally wasn't driving. I was being driven at the time. Yeah.
I didn't know how it came about, but it's actually caused by Ophelia, the hurricane that's
from the
yeah. So it basically blew over the Sahara, bringing in a lot of the dust from the Sahara, causing
it looked beautiful, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked beautiful.
It was cozy.
A friend of mine
said, almost red.
Yeah. A friend of mine was saying it looks almost apocalyptic a little bit.
Yes,
I know you said that.
Subhanallah, you're right. Yeah, subhanallah, yeah. But it reminded me because when I used to live in Saudi, there used to be like sandstorms. obviously on a scarier scale. So it reminded me kind of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Similar
well,
kind of colour to it,
yeah, similar color.
Yeah.
But in Saudi, I think there was a time where like it was like a storm. It was a sandstorm. It was scary. The lights went off. So not as extreme as that, but yeah, so it reminded me of when I was living in Saudi. And also, yeah, I was there for like 6 months, 7 months. So yeah.
I heard people's asthma was playing up as well.
Because of it.
During the
thing.
dust probably.
It would make sense. I'm surprised that it didn't affect me.
Yeah,
You got
same.
asthma, yeah?
Yeah, I do have asthma, but
So
like
we need
it's
to speak
mild.
later on then.
And it's mild. Yeah, no, we
What's the
do.
cure? Is it the little?
No. What no.
Inhaler.
I see
No,
my man
no.
in the station this morning bang it, and it made him cough so much. It was
Yeah.
What's the cure? What's the cure?
Well,
Hit us with it.
well, I don't want to say the cure because like I said to you,
What do
I
you
can't
recommend? What do you?
What I would recommend, and what I know from my personal, like I had two cousins that I still have. They had, alhamdulillah, they were severely asthmatic at a younger age, and they were in and out of hospital like continuously, and it was quite severe. So what they were told, subhanallah, and by someone like a nutritionist as well, was camel milk. So what they done, in Morocco, it was a summer holiday. You can get camel milk as well here for those of you who are interested. Just let me know. Camel milk, subhanallah, has so many benefits. Now, that's another topic. There's so many farms being opened in Germany, Holland, like camels, and they have the milk, and it's so beneficial. Go on a study.
Does it taste nice? Come on.
It's a bit. The taste is it's a bit strong. Me personally, because I like that. I'm that type of like person that just anything that's healthy, I'll just back it and I'll like it, even if it's not nice. This is very nice because.
So do you drink camel milk?
Yeah, I do. Alhamdulillah, okay. I drink camel milk. Yeah, and it's very, very good for people who are lactose intolerant. So brothers and sisters and friends out there, there's so much benefits of camel milk. We can go into that for another.
We definitely have to do a second episode.
Yeah,
100%,
so camel milk, brothers, wallah, camel milk is so amazing. I'd advise every single one of you, including brother Abdul Samad and Faisal, after you go, after this podcast, go to like research, and I'm talking researchers that have made like actual findings of the benefits of camel milk. So they were on they were every morning, they would go to like, we have it in Morocco, like the seaside, where people, they herd their camels. So every morning on an empty stomach, they would have camel milk fresh from the other stress. The first thing that they would have was the camel milk. After 2 weeks, their asthma, by the permission of Allah, was gone, and they started playing semi-professional football. Imagine actually from being severely obviously they don't play football anymore because now because you know how competitive football is. Obviously it's not the topic, but now obviously imagine being severely asthmatic to playing football. Camel milk. So, and even there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where a group of people came to Medina. And I'm not sure if you've been to Medina. The actual when they first came to Medina, the atmosphere didn't suit them, and they were really ill. So the Prophet ﷺ recommended camel milk for them, and they got really well. Yeah. So
is that not dairy?
Yeah, but obviously, brother, speaking in terms of dairy. Okay.
No, of course, but I'm just wondering.
Yeah, but that's a good point. It is dairy. But like I said to you, when it comes to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, we don't reject it, and even there's another hadith, but like I said to you, brothers, if me personally, I don't touch milk, because it doesn't suit my body. But if like camel milk, it sits comfortably, alhamdulillah, it's very, and we have to remember like there's different types of dairies. Yes, it comes from milk, but I'm not the type of person like there are many other people like that. Nah, the milk is for the baby, is for the baby cattle. That's why it comes. No, but there's a hadith. Okay, as Muslims, we have to always remember this. There's a hadith that said that the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith that the cow's milk is actually beneficial. But again, how is that cow milk produced? How much hormones have they pumped in that? We all know, but how much interference there has been with the cow's milk. So, but generally, as a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, we take the hadiths. So, like I said to you from the beginning, and I'll keep on reiterating, it's the balance, and everybody is different. So, say for example, I may not consume cow's milk, but camel's milk, alhamdulillah, is very, very good for me. It sits comfortably with my body.
Alhamdulillah. What's the second current event, Red?
So Ophelia is still here. It's still about. So anyone that's living in the coastal lines of of the Lowlands of England, be careful because winds are going to be rising up to like 70 miles per hour. We're not. Well, alhamdulillah, we're very lucky to not even feel the effects of that. Besides the red sky. So yeah, that's there. The next one I'll talk about is basically, I'm gonna kind of keep it health related since we should give Hakim a health segment or something. Yeah. Every month or every week or something.
I'm thinking we get Bo Aziz and Abdul Hakim in the same podcast.
We need
would be good, man.
We need to try to get ourselves a fourth mic.
Yeah, we'll find a fourth mic, inshallah.
We'll get one, inshallah. That's worth
You've
it.
got one.
I said we'll get one, inshallah.
Yeah, if you want to donate,
freshlygrounded.com/donate.
there you go.
We'll get a fourth mic.
Inshallah. Sadaqah
How much is a whole mic setup, Sam?
Under 100 quid.
Mashallah, that's quite-
That's
That was a
slightly
guess.
more. Yeah,
150 quid, I imagine.
slightly more.
200
An
quid.
entire set with the mic, the pop shield, the cage, so for a microphone setup is around £250.
Mashallah.
Yeah, it's not cheap, man.
But if everyone gives £1, I'm sure we can reach that target.
If everyone
true.
gives £1, we'll have enough for a good few mics. Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, freshlygrounded.com/donate.
Inshallah.
One topic I've kind of wanted to talk about over here is because I've always been interested in Islam's stance on like organ donors and stuff like that. So I don't really know how that works in Islam. So it'd be interesting to find out. But basically, recently there's been about 505 organ donors that have been blocked because of relatives. So people would have passed on, but they're licensed to have, been donors of organs.
Is that in the UK? Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the UK.
Yeah, I'm confused.
So organ donors, do you know what they are?
Yeah, like so someone gives like someone a kidney or something.
Yeah,
But
that's
when the
after
person
they've passed
dies,
away.
when a person dies,
So when they passed
Mm.
away, they've given permission to the NHS to donate
Right.
a certain organ to whoever needs it.
Right.
And 505 of those registered donors have been blocked because of certain relatives in their family who basically don't approve of it.
SubhanAllah, but if they've signed it themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, so no, like the law states that consent lies with the deceased, but in practice, relatives' wishes are always respected.
You know, I don't know what Islam says about that. So
Well, I
definitely
don't
wanna speak
think
without
you
knowledge.
mess with the body too much after.
Yeah.
When the soul's gone, you treat it. I mean, the body can feel it, and you treat it with the body's got rights. As far I'm not speaking of any knowledge, but as far as I'm aware, cutting up the body is not, that wouldn't be part of Islam, would it?
Allahu A'lam, yeah.
Yeah,
Allah knows best,
yeah.
But you know what, generally speaking, Allah, I don't know, obviously, it's a deep topic, innit?
Alhamdulillah, let's move
Yeah,
on
yeah,
because we
move
don't
on,
want
move on.
we
You
try
know
to
what,
speak
the
about what
best-
we
you
don't know
what, the
about.
best- obviously, yeah, and like Brother Sam said, obviously, you don't interfere with the body.
Yeah.
But from a Islamic point of view, there's many, mashallah, students of knowledge, and
Alhamdulillah.
they could, akhi, like I said, someone more qualified, inshallah.
Allah knows best.
Yeah,
Okay,
inshallah.
Okay, next one. So in the University of West Scotland, there's been a protein that has been discovered that can actually stop viruses from developing, and the same one was actually discovered a couple of months ago that could be used to combat cancer. So
A protein.
Yeah. Since we were talking about protein earlier, yeah, it's a protein strand that can basically stop cancer from spreading and viruses from spreading as well, and that's
West
being developed
Scotland.
at the moment to put into practice, and it's called HIRA.
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 So, with this concept of like, obviously sometimes, may Allah preserve our health and the Muslims' health here. You always like think, cancer's become something that's so prevalent. And like I said, our forefathers and our, speaking, because we have to look at it, it only makes sense to look at our previous generations, because there was no such thing as cancer. There was no such, there may have been, but it was not as prevalent as now. That this must be telling us that there is something wrong with our food, that there's something wrong with our lifestyle. But subhanAllah, when you go to a hospital, when you go to a doctor, the last thing that you want to hear is, you have cancer. May Allah cure again our brothers and sisters, people that have cancer. May Allah give them shifa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relieve their test and you give them permanent shifa. We always hear that, oh, sorry, there's no cure. Now, for me,
we're told, aren't we? By
we're told
Quran that there's a cure for Allah has given a cure.
The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that for every likulli da'in dawa, for every illness there is a cure. Now, I mean, the Prophet ﷺ told us this, except for death. We know that if a person is meant to die because of a specific illness, then okay, there is no cure for him. But generally speaking, the Prophet ﷺ told us that for every illness there is a cure. Now, imagine, subhanAllah, someone has cancer and you tell him that, sorry, there is no cure. You're gonna die in 2 days, or you're going to die in a week. What have you done to that person's hope? Now you have just destroyed that person's hope and destroyed any ambition that he has to try and get better. Like, khalas, that's it. You just sit there and die. And this is not, and the Prophet ﷺ told us that, and taught us that if there is like, say for example, a remedy, or there is like a procedure that you can get better, go and seek it. Obviously you're gonna die, khalas, you're gonna die. That you cannot, nobody can escape death. Everyone's gonna die one day. But don't be like this hopeless person that, Many people, and like I said, this is subjective. There have been many people that have cured their cancer by the permission of Allah through like juices, through juice diets, through fasts, through vitamin C, vitamin B. There's so much things out there that people have done and that have cured their illnesses. But then again, I do say it and I do reiterate it that it is always subjective, but you're not going to lose anything by trying it.
But it's proven that even ginger can kill more cancer cells than even chemotherapy can.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, the cures are there, isn't it?
It's just about taking that, actually pursuing that kind of course, and it's difficult because obviously, alhamdulillah, we're not in that situation. We're not desperate, so obviously, may Allah protect us from being in that situation. But generally speaking, there is a cure. Maybe we just we haven't come across it.
That's very true. Very true.
Have any of you used the NHS tracker yet?
NHS
tracker. So this tracker went up. That basically measures how well your area is performing in terms of healthcare, and it shows that Northwest London is the best at the moment.
MashaAllah. NHS, yeah.
For what?
For the NHS services, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Luton is the best area. That's best for health services. Something a bit different as well now. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the whole UK banks being alleged with the money laundering.
No.
What happened?
So in South Africa there was a little money laundering scandal, and the UK bank Standard Chartered and HSBC have now been associated with that, and they're under an investigation.
Is it?
Being conduits to that.
Trust no one.
The rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Trust.
It's like a conspiracy, man.
No we're not allowed politics here, are we?
We can have politics, we can have conspiracy theories. Sam broke all of those walls down after episode 2.
I realise it's not the right way of going around it, man.
No, but the rich do get richer and the poor get poorer.
doubt.
Very true.
I'm not sure. Obviously, this is maybe it's been in the news, or obviously there's this increase of crime, stabbings, and obviously like moped crimes. Obviously, obviously there's no excuse for crime. But there is this huge gap between the rich and the poor.
There is a huge gap, yeah.
And just the gentrification of London. It's not health related, but generally speaking, it's become so evident, and it's not good for the people out there. If somebody who's living on an estate and they're not generally well off, generally speaking, they're not going to be stopped. And there's many. I have a brother who works with a youth club, and mashallah, he does so much great work. London Tigers, and they do so much great work with the youth and the community. And he said the funding, brother Tariq. Yeah, Moroccan brother. London Tigers. There's a lot. There's not just one brother. There's also organisation. Yeah.
Do you know anyone called
Danielle? No, but if I see, probably familiar by face. Yeah. They've cut funding. They've cut funding, and if we don't provide the youth with alternatives, they're gonna go on a ped. We need. It's not just about. It's a balance. That's the key to life, innit? That's how it's rehabilitation, it's educating, and we all know the cuts that are being made under the current government, innit? And which are very, very tough, on single parents, on parents generally, and it's breeding this kind of culture of crime. And obviously, one of my friends got stabbed, and he, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him. And he passed away yesterday. That there was 2 stabbings. There was one in Passing Green, and there was one in just up the road, Harrow Road. And subhanallah, on a moped, 2 guys came up and they stabbed him in his heart.
For what?
For a phone. Wallahi. So it's
they didn't know him.
They didn't know him. He was outside his house. They stabbed him, and he passed away
yesterday. SubhanAllah, man.
Yeah, so there is the rich do get richer and the poor, and when they tell us no, there's no money, well, there's evidently enough money going around. It's just greed, and subhanAllah, greed is what kills society, and greed is what causes discourse in society.
A phone, man, like a phone.
Yeah, for a phone, that's how cheap life has become, and that's how cheap it is to destroy a household. And people are starting to become. People are not stupid anymore. We're starting to, and this is why, subhanAllah, Islam is a complete way of life, because we have zakat. It it treats that that problem of poverty and people growing up and under poverty and extreme stress. Capitalism. We're not here like to talk about capitalism, Marxism, blah blah blah. But there's something wrong going in the system. And I'm not a Marxist. I'm not a capitalist. But like I said to you, our deen is always balanced, bro.
No.
Do you understand? I'm not saying that we all suggest that we all live in a Marxist society, because we can see that in Cuba or certain countries that it's not. It has failed. Yeah. And Islam is not a Marxist society, but balance, bro. We need balance. That's why we have sadaqah. That's why we have zakat. I don't know what to say, bro. Abdul, man. What's your intake on this? I'm just rambling on.
Essentially, what you're saying is that Islam is a perfect way of life, and it's true.
It's a balance, akhi. It's a balance. Yeah. It's a balance. It's a way of life, like you said. It's a balance in our food. It's a balance in our life. It's a balance in society. How to keep, obviously we all know the negative press that Islam has got. Due to a few or a tiny number of people that have caused this kind of negative effect. And I'm sure as a revert to Islam, you have probably family members and friends that are like, what, you became Muslim? What are you going to become an extremist? And this is not our deen. This is not this is not Islam. Do you understand? So a balance in, and this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls for, a balance in everything in life and every way of life. Equilibrium.
I like that word. Last piece of news is something a little bit lighthearted. So burqa's got like banned in Austria recently.
Really?
Yeah.
The burqa.
Yeah.
The niqab.
And a guy that was wearing like a shark costume, he got banned because apparently it's something that resembles not a burqa, but not resembles, but like within the same kind of frame of like covering yourself up, completely, concealing your identity. So he was just wearing like a massive shark costume, and he got banned.
How times are changing.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous, but you know what I mean.
Are you allowed to wear that hat, Sam?
This hat?
Yeah.
Just,
but I can't
really
see your full identity though.
Just about now.
For now you can.
Well, okay. Cool.
Brother Abdul Hakim, it's been amazing having you on this podcast. SubhanAllah, we definitely have to come back for another episode.
Inshallah.
I love these episodes, man. When we have guests, like we have a balance on our podcast. So sometimes we have guests, sometimes it's just us two, and I love both types of episodes, man. Like when it's just us two, we're sitting there, we're talking about each other's weeks, and we're having banter. But this kind of stuff as well, like it benefits us, it benefits the people. Alhamdulillah, please do come back. With that being said, that was episode 31. Guys, please make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on the iTunes podcast app. And yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Check out Sunnah Remedies.
Check out Sunnah Remedies.
Remedies.
Jazakallah khairan. Barakallah feek, brothers.
Assalamu alaikum.